What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web here on a happy
Hump Day
edition. How do we start off this show? Let's get it out of the way so the roommates don't complain. 3 things. You know them, you love them, you got to have them. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we will have Louie from the Frozen Pirate Podcast. We'll have Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. Hopefully we have him on here. At 9 o'clock, we will have the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. We will have the return of former NFL quarterback Seneca Wallace, now the St. Louis Battlehawks quarterback coach, talking about what else your Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback play around the National Football League. About 9:30, because I just got a text from him. JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show could be joining us. We planned for him to come on, but he's not able to come on right now, so we will get him on later. And you wonder why we're getting on JP. Not only is he a great guest, and he gets it right. Make no mistake about it. He had this from the very get-go. We told you. If you watch the JP Peterson Show, which you should, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to noon. Once again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter, giving you something to think about. He told you that there were Tampa Bay investment groups looking to buy this team. And that is the breaking news of the day. According to Sportico, Tampa Bay Rays principal owner Stu Sternberg is in advanced talks to sell the team to a group led by Florida real estate developer. Hopefully I get his name right. Patrick, help me out here, co-host. Where is Louie at? What's his last name?
I can't pronounce it. Go right ahead. Go for it, buddy, because that's a tough one. I'm terrible with names. You had it right the first time.
Well, we did have it right. Zelpowski, I believe his name is. Led by him. Zelpowski? Zelpowski? No.
I don't know.
Probably not.
I don't know.
Bill Cosgrove, Ken Babby, and prominent Tampa Bay investors concerning a possible sale of the team. The Rays said in a statement. So once again, the Tampa Bay Rays announced that the team has recently commenced exclusive discussions. We told you this. Everybody was talking about Orlando, and I told you, just like their name there that they want, dreams, it was a pipe dream. That Orlando is what Tampa and St. Pete have been through the 80s and the 90s. They were leverage. That's all it was. And by the way, according to Sportico, Stu is looking to sell this to this ownership group for $1.7 billion. Why is that important? Because what we heard throughout this whole process is that he wanted more than 1.8. So do you think that Major League Baseball is possibly forcing him to sell this team, as what we said on this show and on the JP Peterson Show? Do you think that's happening right now? JP had it right. And again, the reported $1.7 billion sale price would be just south of $1.725 billion, group led by David Rubenstein, paid for the Baltimore Orioles. Of course, Sternberg purchased the team for $200 million in 2004. So my question for the night to you Rays fans out there, which, by the way, they lose to the Baltimore Orioles. I don't know what the score is right now. We'll have to update you when that happens. But of course, this is the breaking news of the day. Are you excited about this getting done? Do you think this eventually gets done? Does the circus finally leave town? Does it leave town? And we will go back out to the phone lines because I haven't given out the phone line number yet. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. And of course, Patrick, and I know I'm not going to try to mispronounce his name because I got the name wrong, most likely, is a part. And by the way, He is the founder and CEO of Dream Finders Homes, which got its start in Jacksonville. People said, well, they're going to go to Jacksonville. No, they're not going to Jacksonville. They're not going to Orlando. They're not going to El Segundo. They're staying in the Tampa Bay area. Is it in St. Pete? Is it in Tampa? It could be in Tampa. Most likely it is going to be in Tampa. Why would they leave here? This has obviously been forced by Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball. Look at the price tag. Of course, Stu, just a couple months ago, walked away from a $1.3 billion stadium deal with St. Pete. The writing was on the wall. There's not anybody that's going to do any deal with Mr. Sternberg with the bridges that he's burned in Tampa and St. Pete. Do you honestly think there would be any stadium deal done at that juncture? And then furthermore, don't you think the commissioner of Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, is tired of this nonsense? What about you, fans? Are you excited about the Rays selling finally? And let's see if the deal is going to be done. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. And there you go, right there. The tribal troll right on cue.
Acknowledge me.
Orlando Rays. No chance, my friend. A pipe dream. Complete and total pipe dream.
That's good enough to suck right there.
Pipe dream. You guys bought this. Hook, line, and sinker. Hook, line, and sinker. So we'll see what happens at this point. 9:30, we will have JP Peterson on. He will talk with us. He's had the deal from the very get-go. There's a reason why, the Sports Web associates with Mr. JP Peterson in that show, as I'm the producer and co-host. Because the man knows what he's talking about. He's been in the business for the last, 15, 20 years in this market? So you think he's just making up erroneous information, Leo word? Really? Radio station didn't have it. And they're willing to call my partner and say, oh, he had bad information. No, he didn't. He never had any bad information at this point. He had it hook, line, and sinker. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We'll go back out to these comments. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I'm excited. I heard this news today, and when you're focusing on sales, you're not able to post it on Facebook. And I thought it was a dream. I thought I was dreaming at this point. I woke up this morning. I felt good about going to the job. I've been killing it. And I heard this rumor, and I said, no way. I said, it's finally going to happen. And I talked to some people. I talked to a person in the know, and he said, watch it. Watch it all work out. Just be patient. You may not be thinking it's going to work out, but watch it work out in the end. And that person was right. All right. Let me go out to this guy right here. Go ahead.
Hold on real quick. So I got a little bit of information on this.
Go ahead.
On this gentleman here. So the deal is worth.
Before you do all that, we got to do it the right way here.
All right. I'm getting a little excited. That's the problem.
Well, you should be getting excited, but make it.
What do you hear? What do you say?
All right, Louie from the Frozen Pirate podcast. And look, my goal was to get you into the Tampa Bay Rays. And here we are, my friend, starting off with the Tampa Bay Rays. And I know there's some people, you're supposed to talk about Bucs. We'll talk about the Bucs.
There's not much going on with the Bucs, Peter.
Well, we got
waiting patiently. We do, but waiting patiently for the training camp.
Yeah, we got some things. We got some things to talk about, my friend.
But we got the future of baseball, of Tampa Bay baseball right here. So this is pretty big news. So in my opinion,
huge news. And we'll have the guy, JP Peterson, who, by the way, if you listen to his show, which you should, he's been on with Brody Brazil a couple times there, who's been reporting about the stadium. And people were saying Orlando. And JP's like, no, they're staying here. And what we heard was that there were talks with Ron DeSantis, who's the governor here in the great state of Florida, Manfred and DeSantis, and this gentleman is from the University of Florida, so I won't hold that against him at all. And he's it seems like he's also friends with Rod DeSantis, the governor. So I'm just saying,
That's good.
like, you got to connect the dots here. Like everybody, Orlando, Disney World, tourist attraction. No, we're staying here in Tampa. So we'll read your comments. What do you guys think about what has happened and has been reported today? Looks like the Rays are definitely on the block here for a sale. Again, some more information on this gentleman, CEO of the Dream Finders Home. I got to start in Jacksonville. The company is valued at $3.4 billion, and his net worth is $1.4, according to Forbes. Forbes also valued the Rays at $1.35 billion. And I remember having this conversation, and I hate to be petty about this, but I was talking to, best of the Bay, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. And he was saying something north of like 1.8, like something like $2 billion. This dude was going to get. No, he's never going to get he's never going to get $2 billion. Never. He was never going to get that. And Major League Baseball was going to make sure of that, because everything that's been reported from the sources, not only just JP, but the insiders, if you will, Ken Rosenthal around baseball, John Heyman, they have been reporting this here the last couple months, that the commissioner has been upset with Stu Sternberg, that the owners around the league are tired of his nonsense. They're tired of the song and dance, which it's been revenue sharing across Major League Baseball with the Yankees and the Red Sox, sharing that money, and the Rays not doing enough to, spend money in free agency. And not only that, not get a new stadium deal done. That's what it's been. And that's the reason.
Been the big kicker.
It's been the big kicker.
As somebody that's an outsider, okay? Obviously, Peter, to everybody out there, it's no stranger. Like I said, I'm not really up to date with the Rays, but this season, with everything kind of transpiring, everything going on, the number one thing I've always said was, it's crazy that this team can put up wins. They've been consistent as far as going to the playoffs, but yet you look at the payroll, it's just like, how I don't understand that as an owner. And then I'm hearing about all these things about him losing deals or messing around. Like, from what I was understanding, there was supposed to be they wanted to build a stadium in Ybor City, and then that was a no-no.
Mm-hmm.
And why was that a no-no?
Well, it was too.
I'm just trying to understand those.
Well, to me, it's like anything else that we talk about on this show, right? It goes back to sales for me and Policy Scout. And Alex will get out to you in a moment. I look at it this way. I talk to people every day. I talk to Esther, Gertrude, every day. And they go, I want to save money. I couldn't save money before. How do I save money? Well, you can't do the same thing over and over again. Stu's been doing the same thing over and over again. The main constant has been Stu. No matter if it's Tampa, St. Pete, wherever it's been, the deal's never been able to get done. What's the difference? Same thing with the customer. What's the difference? What's the constant? You're not going to save money in the past. You're not going to save money now, and you're not going to save money in the future. Why? Because the constant is that person. And that's what it comes down to, in my opinion. It's Stu Sternberg. And again, excited about the news. I've said it over and over again. Tampa Bay Rays fans, you deserve ownership like Jeff Vinnick and the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Right.
You deserve ownership like the Glazers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let me go out to Alex, big-time Rays fan. Alex, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Louie from the Frozen Pirate Podcast. Your thoughts?
Listen, if you are an everyday diehard Rays fan, this is the biggest step in the right direction that we have been looking forward to for over 20 years.
Yep.
I will tell you, you know me very well, Peter. We've spoken many times about what's going to happen, what not for over the past.
And what have I told you? What have I told you from the very
Listen,
beginning? What did I told you?
You did. But I want to add this, though.
Yep.
This is really good news. For those that really don't understand the logic of how good this is, it's going, not only are we going to be able to look forward to keeping baseball in Tampa Bay, but it's the things that people aren't seeing beyond that. It's the keeping the players. It's the things that Rays fans want, that when you look in a crowd and you look at the stadium and you be like, man, there's over the last 15 years, many times in the last 15 years, there's only 5,000 fans here. There's only 7,000 fans here.
Hold on.
There's
I want to correct the name here. I want to get this right. Thank you to Abraham for correcting me on this. It's Zelebski. So again, Patrick Zelebski. He may be the new owner of the Tampa Bay Rays. I better get his name right. But we came on, I had it right, and then I forgot it because I was just so pumped up. And I feel like you, and we've talked about this. We've had these conversations before that this is the next step. I always talk about evolution, right? This is the evolution of the Rays. This is when you get excited about not only getting a new stadium, but ownership that is committed to spending money, to keeping fan favorites, to making fans happy. They're not just businessmen. They're not just like Stu.
It's really good to see that if this comes, listen, we all don't know anything until the dotted line is signed. And we all know Stu. Stu is a very chinsy mother freaker, you know?
Yeah.
But I am going to say this. If this is true, the last 15 years, I've sat in the Trop and watched attendance go down, and Rays fans and very close Rays fans of mine said, look, there are Rays fans. There are thousands of Rays fans. But the reason why we don't go out to the Trop, XYZ, is because we just don't want to support an owner that doesn't believe in the community. His remarks after the hurricane was it for me, man. So looking forward to a future of baseball in Tampa Bay for generations to come. You know, he always spoke about baseball for generations to come. Ultimately, he never was going to bring baseball in Tampa Bay for generations to come. Right. So really good to see a potential owner. Listen, I'll be the first to tell you when I'm wrong, but if this new owner comes in and brings baseball to Tampa Bay, Peter, I made you a bet, man. I made you a bet that if this is something that's going to happen, I think I betted you like $1,000.
You did. You bet me $1,000. Yeah.
Some crazy thing. Yeah. I betted you $1,000. But man, it's really good to see a potential brand new owner come in that loves the community. And again, I don't know the gist of the deal of who he's going to be with, but from what JP Peterson has reported, and I'll be skeptical of him too, but he's been on it, man. All of his reports have been dead on. But if you can get multiple investors that love the core of the community, love Tampa Bay, the roots of Tampa Bay, it's going to be, I promise you, for all those Rays fans that sat there with me, watching attendance drop and sat in the Trop when there was only 3,000 fans in there, and you're still saying, I'm not going to give up. It's a great day. So listen, keeping players too is going to be something to look forward to. Signing long-term deals, being a team that was always shit talked for so many years, and get a new owner in here. And I promise you, Rays baseball will rise again. And listen, we're in second place. Granted, we're playing really bad tonight, by the way, Peter. We're down 8-0 against the O's. really bad night. But listen,
right.
The Rays have always made some noise in the division, in one of the toughest divisions with the lowest payroll and the shittiest owner. We've always been at the top of the standings in the AL East. Can you imagine, Rays fans out there, including myself, can you imagine getting an owner in here and giving us an extra rise that we need to be above to get to the top of this division and win a World Series? I'm telling you, man, if this owner comes in and it's everything that sounds good to be true, I'm very happy with today's news, man. I as a Rays fan, when I heard that breaking news, Peter, it was the best news I've heard in years.
I know.
And that's over the Bucs, and that's over the Bucs and the Bolts. Listen, I love my Bucs. I love my Bolts.
Right.
But God, I'm a diehard Rays fan.
All right, man. I love the comments, man. I love the excitement, and definitely continue
the passion.
Call. Yeah, he did. So
always
again,
brings the passion. I'll give him that.
Abraham, go ahead and call in again. The name of the owner. I want to make sure I get this right. Patrick Zepeleski. So
there's a couple of. I'm looking at some other things here. Do you know what the deal is valued at? Supposedly, the deal on the table.
1.7 billion.
1.7 billion. Because there's a couple of other. I'm looking at. Because I'm trying to do a deep dive of who this guy is. There's a couple of other people supposedly that he has as some local Tampa investors as well.
This is what we talked about. Local Tampa investors were out there, and this is what JP was reporting. Let's go out to Mr. Abraham here. Abraham, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend, as we have big news for the night here when it comes to
JP Peterson show. So, but yeah, I've been on top. I'm big on JP Peterson. He's very dead on, spot on about his stuff.
Right.
So
we got to come on at 9:30.
Zalewski.
Yes.
Patrick Zalewski. That's his name.
Zalewski. Okay. Well, Patrick Zalewski. I'm going to get his name right. Yes.
He's got a consortium of investors. So, and also like this, like he may be the guy who's like the leading the team. There's a couple of other guys that are in investors, but there's a whole bunch of Tampa Bay based investors also in it. So I don't see him moving the franchise to Jacksonville. Nope. I don't see it going to Orlando.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I agree.
That's a dream. Keep dreaming, dreamers.
Yep, it's a pipe dream. That's all it is. It's a pipe dream. And again, anybody getting upset about it, you fell into the trap. You fell into the trap like, the Tampa and St. Pete area, especially the St. Pete area in the 80s. And I continue to talk about the White Sox and how this area was used. I continue to talk about the Mariners, continue to talk about the Giants. This team or this city was used and abused. Their people were used and abused. And then also on top of it, Major League Baseball doesn't want to be sued again because that's exactly the reason why they got the Rays in the first place. They threatened to sue Major League Baseball because they were passed over for expansion when they were promised. Do you think that Major League Baseball wants another lawsuit? Because
definitely not.
Right.
No.
So, and again, this market is the 11th largest market. You look at the TV ratings, they're some of the highest in Major League Baseball, but that doesn't fit the narrative to some of the media outlets out there, locally and nationally. It doesn't fit the media narrative. That's the problem. And people are not looking inside of the reason why you don't have fan support in the first place. They're not looking at all the talent that's walked out the door and gone to other places and been successful.
Randy Osarena, man. I mean, and I'm sitting in that lame-ass stadium, that lame, pathetic excuse of a stadium that Sternberg forced fans to go to for years. I'm like, this place is pathetic. I don't get the ballparks. I feel like I'm some kind of dome, some kind of civic center, and playing Major League Baseball. I'm not getting the fan experience, and it's like, now explains why nobody wants to go there, and it's a common factor about anybody who talks Rays baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a fan. I agree with you. I wasn't a fan. When I went out there, I caught my first Rays game with the family. We went to the Trop. I'm not a fan of the Trop. I'm not. Not at all.
That is a joke, and I'm happy. I mean, that they're in Tampa City. So, I mean, I drove by Raymond James yesterday. I'm like, wow, look at the stadium. It's where the Rays play. Like, instead of me, Raymond, I mean, driving to Tampa is not a bad drive coming from Plant City, Lakeland area, okay? Because we're technically part of the Tampa Bay area. But all y'all in St. Pete don't have to drive far. I mean, I don't know how the traffic is in Pinellas County, but all y'all in St. Pete, it's easier to get to. For the rest of us, it's tough. And I mean, like, baseball is a game you play almost every day. I play literally out baseball every day. I grew up a baseball fan, but I lost interest in baseball over the years, especially with the Rays, the way that shit's going on. I'm like, I just have a passive interest because of the ownership. The ownership don't care about the fans. The fans, I'm not going to support a team that doesn't have ownership that really is interested in them. I mean, the Lightning per se, the Bucs especially. So if they're not trying to engage the fans and they're not trying to do things to support the fans and get them to come to their games, all he was interested in is making a profit, like any kind of shrewd investor is. He bought it for $200 million. Now he's going to sell it for 1.7. So all he cared about was making passive income out of this franchise. But what about the community that this franchise serves? You know what I'm saying? He's basically alienated all of them.
Well, he has, and that's the reason why it's not going to. It would not ever get done, and that's the reason why Commissioner Rob Manfred is forcing the deal, and the owners are forcing the deal because he's burned his bridges not only in Tampa but also in St. Pete, walking away from this deal. How many times, how many years have we talked about a new stadium? We still don't have one, but I believe this is a step in the right direction to get it done because nobody's going to buy this team and say, oh, well, the future is in Tropicana, or we're going to renovate Tropicana, which was the other ridiculous report out there just about a month and a half ago how they were going to renovate Tropicana for 10 years and all this other. Like, no, you're not doing that. You're not getting any more money. There's no more cash grab. There's no more money. You had the opportunity to make the deal happen in St. Pete. You didn't make the deal happen. So now you have to sell the team. You're being forced to sell the team. And listen, he's walking away from it for $1.7 billion. Good. Have a nice life. You're not a baseball owner. You did have some success here, but it's a shame if you just think about it, you go back to it, how much talent walked out the door, how many opportunities this team had to win a World Series, how they had the opportunity to go all in, and they weren't able to go all in because the financial constraints. If you get a new stadium, if you get an ownership that is committed like the Lightning and like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, then you're going to have an opportunity to win a World. Just try. I'm not saying you have to be like the Dodgers, but just damn try. And this Rays organization under this ownership hasn't done enough of that, in my opinion. And they've not tried. Nope.
They haven't done a damn thing. I'm sorry. Pardon my language, but
it's all right.
It's frustrating as a fan of Tampa Bay sports. You know, I just when you talk about Rays, I'm just zoned out because I don't want to get into something that is just frustrating, you know, because there's no ownership incentive. There's no incentive for fans. And if you build no offense to you guys in Pinellas County, if you build a stadium in Hillsborough County, I guarantee you people from all sides will come. Tampa Bay has a big circumference of fans from all different neighboring counties. Polk County, you got Sarasota
for
County.
Me, it's not even the fact of location at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, we're talking about location. If it goes in St. Pete, it goes in St. Pete. I think it's definitely going to happen in Tampa, but you're exactly right. The central location for this would be in Tampa, and it's been shown. Say whatever you want to about Steinbrenner, but they have been able to pack that up. People go, well, you know, it's not full, you know, all the time. There's been a couple games where it's not all the way full, but it's sold out. Still, people are still coming out and supporting this team. And I think it comes down to ownership. If you have a better ownership, then fans start to embrace it. You start to endear yourself to the fan base. People start to forgive, and they start to want to come out and be a part of this new situation with ownership, in my opinion.
This organization does not care about, this ownership, does not care about the fans. So how can I get myself up to attend the game when I know that the people who own this franchise don't really care about the well-being of the fans or even the franchise itself, because they got some other motive. And I'm happy that goodbye and good riddance. That's all I got to say on this matter.
Yeah, but I think it goes back to what we always say, with Sun Devil Dave there, goodbye forever. Thanks for wasting my time, and goodbye forever. That's how I feel about. And I even said, if this gets sold, I'm going to party like it's 1999. Kids, if you don't know that reference, go ahead and Google that. Put it on YouTube there. Friends. And I'm not a partier, but that's, for me, that would be just a whole weight of in my opinion, lifted off of my back. I wouldn't have to talk about this stadium situation anymore because it would get done. And I would just be happy not only for myself, but for Rays fans out there, because I think they're great fans. And they've gotten a bad rap from the media, especially the national media. And finally, you give them what they deserve, which is new ownership and somebody that is committed to not only being competitive at the end of the day, but trying to be a World Series contender consistently. What else, Abraham?
I just want to talk mainly about this whole thing because that's what the focus is on.
Yeah.
We can save the other conversations for later, but so this is the breaking news, so I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. And as far as partying, this is my party right here, because being able to listen to your podcast or watching and also call in, that's what I get my high from or my buzz from. Alcohol, partying, my wild days are behind me. So keep partying on, man.
Yes. Good stuff.
All right. I'll chat with you guys later.
All right. Sounds good, man. I appreciate you. There you go. Good stuff there by Abraham. We'll get him out of there on that. Open phone lines if you want to talk about the potential sell here of the Tampa Bay Rays. And can you say his name? Patrick Zalewski. See, I got it right there.
Yeah. I want to go to the comments. Yeah, we have a funny comment over here. I'd like to read for
comment here really quick.
All right, Christopher Cole.
Yes.
Be careful because Stu pullout game is on point.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
Yeah.
He's definitely got that. Abraham says, who just on, we need a stadium in Tampa. Looks like you may have one. Stu wants his cake. You need it too. It's always been about that. Let me go out to Eric. Eric, I know you want to bring passion here, but don't curse, my friend. Welcome to the Evolution.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on, buddy? Doing good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm happy when I saw the Rays news today. It broke. I was, what, really? Wow.
Well, yeah, it broke today. I think a lot of Rays fans were happy about to see that.
Stu still have the power. He can refuse if you want not to sell it, though.
Well, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen in this case. I don't. I think this is Major League Baseball's doing. I think Manfred is forcing and the other owners are forcing him to sell. And the reason why is because of the price tag. Because there was talk that he wanted more than 1.8 or something along those lines. He wanted 2, and this is the reason why it wasn't getting done. And we told you, JP told you, I'm not going to take full credit. JP told you from his report that it was being worked on behind the scenes, and now here comes the report. So I don't think this was just happening. It just happened. This has been going on here the last couple months. There have been talks of this, and now it looks like they worked out a deal. And I think this is going to happen because Major League Baseball is trying to make it happen.
I had a question for you.
Go for it.
If he would have bought the stadium and built, you think he'd still be here? If he would have bought the stadium, you think Stu would have been here still, or he would? Stu
would never intended on building his own stadium. I
don't think so either. He had multiple chances and he dropped the ball.
He wanted the city to build it for him. He wanted a deal like the Florida Marlins, and it doesn't work out that way. And you look at what has happened down there in Miami, how much of a disgrace, an abomination, Leo word of that deal, how awful it is. It's been, to the taxpayers there in Miami. They haven't shown up. They put it in a bad location. And on top of it, they basically got bent over on that deal. It's a terrible deal. And that's the kind of deal that a lot of owners want. And I'm here to tell you, with the way that economics are right now, and the way the economy is, and the way that you barely can pay your rent, you could barely put gas in your car, you could barely afford groceries at this point. It's not happening. Communities and cities are not paying for stadiums, nor should they. They should never. If you want a new stadium, you're a multi-million-dollar owner, you're a billion-dollar owner, build the damn thing yourself. And that's what Stu did not want to do.
It takes a lot from the taxpayers. It really does. And a lot of people don't understand that. Like the area that I'm in right now, we're taking a beating. If you're a homeowner right now, you're taking a beating on your property taxes, insurance, and all that stuff, because even they built 2 brand new schools and they're not even done with the second one yet. The amount of money that they're taking in taxes, it's insane. It's nuts. And I agree with Peter on that. The working man can't afford it. They can't keep taking away from the people.
I have a question for you guys too. Also, do you think the stadium deal, the Tropicana Field, do you think it's going to get destroyed after this, or do you think it because the new owner is going to take over? Do you think that stadium is going to be demolished?
I don't know. I can't tell you that right now. I'm going to wait and ask JP Peterson on that at 9:30 when we have him on.
I have an idea on that.
What do you think, Louie? You think it's going to be destroyed? Do you think they play at Center? Where do they play at this point?
Honestly,
he's watching or asking about.
I
Eric,
think what's
going to call, man.
Yeah, appreciate you call, Eric.
All right.
I think what's going to happen, Peter, and this is kind of like my opinion. I get it. I'm the outsider, but I'm starting to really become more and more vested with the Rays, and I'm starting to become more and more interested with the Rays now.
You better.
And
let's go.
Well, like I said, I mean, if I plan on moving down there within the next 3 to 4 years, that's my squad, man. That's my new baseball team.
There you go.
I have to. I think, in my opinion, they're gonna stay in Tampa. I think it all depends on how the way this season plays out. I think the Trop. I mean, really, let's make sense of this. Why are you going to put, if you're a brand new owner, let's just say this deal gets finalized within a couple of months or by the end of the season or the offseason. Let's just say it gets done, right? Why are you going to put, it's going to cost what, $55 million to fix the Trop?
Correct.
Okay. So now you just bought the team with the investors. Now you got to put in $55 million maybe more, because like I said, when you let things go like that for a long period of time, you're just thinking it's the roof. Now those iron workers come in there and, hey, hey, you have more water damage over here. We got to cut this up. It starts to get higher and higher because there's extras and stuff. So 55 million could turn into 80 million very quickly. If you're an owner and you just put all that money into it, do you really want to put all that money into a stadium that you don't see yourself playing at? You would want to build a new stadium. And I think, in my opinion, if they're successful there in Tampa, let's just say they make the playoffs, let's just say they make a deep run in the playoffs, I think there's something special about playing over there. And I think I think they stay in Tampa. I don't think they go back to the Trop, in my opinion. I think they knock that sucker down. Too much bad juju, man.
Too much bad juju. Really quick before I forget, because I got to give a shout out. I don't know if you took a look here, guys. Look at this. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. All
looking slick as a mother effer. How's that?
Yeah, absolutely. Styling and profiling, if you will. The Rolex reporter himself right here.
Cashing checks and breaking necks, baby.
There you go. It's all about that. Up the block barbershop there. What do you need? A fade, blowout, edge, just a beard trim, which I definitely needed. I got that. Go and see my buddy right there, Ricky from Up the Block Barbershop. You don't have to go far. Just go up the block there. 4946 Moog Road in Holiday, Florida. And tell them Peter Blake, the Rolex reporter, sent you.
We got to get them. We got to get their logo, man. I want to put them
up. Let's see. Am I not live? I don't know why I'm not live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube.
We are live on YouTube.
Let's go out to Alex here. Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to use my second caller early because I'm gonna go out for the night. But I will catch JP Peterson at 9:30. But I wanted to go back to your guys' comment about the Trop.
Yeah.
The thing about the Trop is I just don't see. It's going to take about 3 to 4, maybe 5 years to build a stadium, depending the situation. At minimum, I'm going to say you're going to say 3 years. If you guys think for 1 minute that using Steinbrenner for 3 years is going to work, you're out of your minds. You are out of your mind.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea at this point. I mean, I think would the city, I mean, if they go to Tampa,
it all depends, Peter, though.
I don't know if the city would be willing to pay for Tropicana for them to play there for the next 3 years.
MLB is not going to want that either, because you got to think about there's a lot of long logistics that went in just to making this season work alone. You had to involve all 30 teams to redo their schedule just to put the Rays on the front end of the schedule. That alone, you got to think that Rob Manfred was not happy about. Not only that is you don't, as a Rays fan and in the community, yes, it's nice having it in Tampa. And again, I said a little bit ago that I'm very happy for the new owners, and hopefully that's a thing. And we'll get some more information from JP Peterson when he comes in at 9:30. But you just don't want to use. I've been a Steinbrenner field. Me and my buddy went half and half this year on a few seats out there. Obviously, you know that. It's miserable. It's miserable, guys. It's so hot. It's nice. It's a great atmosphere,
right?
But it's so hot. It's so brutal. I promise you, you do not. If you're a Rays fan, you don't want to. Not 3 years, and I don't see MLB even allowing that. And if you're the new owner coming in, I think that he'll spend the $75 to $100 million to buy the time, because you're going to start rebranding your product, rebranding. Listen, the Rays are finally here to stay, and you're not going to do that inside of a minor league ballpark. That's just my opinion. Sure, the Rays are going to be in Tampa. That's where that makes the most sense to put a new stadium. But I just don't see. And I want to ask you guys a question before I go.
Sure.
Are you kind of understanding the sense that I'm making? I just don't see 3 to 5 years at the minimum, because you know it's going to take 3 to 5 years to build that thing. And do you guys think that for the investment, do you guys think that the new owners come in and spend that what's probably going to be $75 to $100 million.
They might.
Well,
they
from a construction aspect, that's a lot of money, man. Because again, as somebody, that's my field, that's my expertise. I'm telling you right now, if they say $55 million to fix the Trop, it's going to be a lot more than that. Because again,
I said I think it's at least $100 million.
You can't, and now you got to come up with that money, and then you have again. It all depends. Let me ask you this question, Alex. Do you want to see them continuously play at the Trop? Would you like for them to go back there?
I want them to go back there to buy time. I want there to go back there just because of the roof alone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, Louie, I know you're not down here right now, and you will be, and hopefully you actually make that move down here because Tampa Bay is a really nice community.
Oh, I know. I've been going down there for the past 3 years in a row, man.
Then you know, if you're sitting outside in a summer day, especially after the rain, it's so
brutal. Yeah, I get
brutal.
it.
It's brutal, bro. It's so brutal. So I have at Steinbrenner, they have front row ledge seats where you can actually, it's right there on the field. That's where my season tickets are this year. But out there alone, it's. I'm telling you guys, it's brutal. I don't want them to go back to Steinbrenner next year. I want them to fix the Trop. I want a new owner to come in, and I believe he will, based off what I think and what I think is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Prediction, and like I said, JP Peterson will come in at 9:30, and he'll know way more than we. Obviously, way more than me. But I just think that the investment is to buy the time.
Well, here's my thing about it, Alex. My thing is, again, from a construction aspect, it's gonna take time to rebuild that stadium because you don't know what kind of nightmares are in there right now because it's been neglected. It's a ghost town, and any construction company that's going in there is gonna want top dollar first and foremost because they know that the team is in a bind. Number one. Number two, if it costs, let's just round the number off to 70 million because there's extras. So let's just say it's 70 million to fix that. Now, how do you propose fixing that stadium and then asking the taxpayers, hey, we're going to build a new stadium. Now it's going to cost this amount of money. That's a lot of money to ask for, man. I'm telling you right now, it's a lot. It's a lot. And
well, I agree that taxpayers should, and I've said this many times on the show, because obviously we talked about Stu and the stadium talks for the last 15 plus years, I think it's been.
Right.
I do not believe, I despise it, taxpayers paying for any cost of any stadium for a multi-billion-dollar owner to make taxpayers pay for anything. So yes, I am against it, but
I got to go to this comment here real quick, Alex, because somebody commented here.
There's plenty of comments here from Joe Sway.
Well, there's one specific for Alex, though.
Yes,
I got to get to it. You got to. Here it is. So Josue says, "Y'all don't complain about the Buc games in August, September, and October. You're wrong about that, and I'll tell you why in a second. At the peak of rainy hurricane season. So stop it, Alex. Alex, I'll take this one for you. Listen, the reason why nobody complains is because you guys are selling your tickets. That's why. All right. That's why you're selling your tickets. I don't see you there.
Right. And a lot of people complain about, a lot of Bucs fans complain about it because the 1 o'clock starts. They want 4 o'clock starts. NFL continues to ignore them.
And remember,
yes,
this is the biggest key point.
Right.
The Bucs play 1 game a week. The Rays play 80 plus home games a year. The Bucs only play 8 times a year at home. That's it.
Right.
That's it. And I think that's not saying that you have the extra buy. So you got to think a long-term deal. It's like I said,
Is it really that bad in October out there?
It's pretty hot. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's like it's my kitchen on Saturday night. Everything burns. That's what it is.
Come on, you got to give yourself a little bit more credit, man.
I don't give myself credit. I got to make a shirt. It's not thick thigh save lives. It's air fryer save lives in my life at this point because I burn everything in the kitchen. Yes,
I want to add this before I get out of here.
Try to follow that. Yeah.
I just think when it comes to the Trop, I just think It's going to take about, and by the way, don't think that an owner is going to come in here and a stadium deal is going to be approved on the dot. It's going to take 3 to 5 years to get till one person.
I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know that. I think, they're going to try to speed this process along because they want to get it done. Yeah. It's been in the background. It's been talked about. Alex, we got to run. We got to read these comments, my friend, but we appreciate it.
All right, thanks, buddy. All right, thanks, guys.
Yep, thank you.
No problem. Well, here's the thing, Peter. I agree with you saying that just because of the simple fact that you have these private investors.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? Maybe they can put up the majority of the money. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to see. But all I know is it's exciting that there's finally a buyer.
Yep.
And it's a step in the right direction. And I think I really wouldn't be worried about it. Let's cross that bridge when we get there.
Agree. All right, let's go back out to these comments because I didn't read them all. Christopher O'Reilly says, "Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening,
Ooh,
you.
Yeah.
I'm here. We can start. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate that.
Yes.
So I got 2 Tims here. We got Tim Haynes, who says, "Good evening, Peter. Good evening to you."
Ooh, yeah.
And we got Tim Weatherspoon. So we got 2 Tims. We got 2 Christophers. Christopher O'Reilly Sitting says, "Go Bucs all day long."
Wait up, little boy. Wait up.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Yeah. All right. Eric says, let's get ready to talk smack. That's what we do here. Rays team needs a reality check. Well, they lost. They're losing right now 8-3. I don't know if they need a reality check. It's just the ebbs and flows of baseball at this point. Rays suck today. Let's go. Boo Rays. Okay. Hang in there. It's a long season, Eric. I wonder what you were like 21-26. You were saying it was a disgrace. And then they went on an 18-6 run. Relax, guys. Relax. Let's get Stu gone. I agree with that. We want Stu gone. Roger Shue says Orlando Rays. We read that. Hi, Pewter Blake. Pewter Blake, thank you very much for tuning in. We need a change to be made. Sell the team, says Alex. Abraham, hi. How you doing? The Tribal Troll, where is the David jersey? I got to put it up. Somebody's going to help me put it up. I got to frame it, or I got to put it in a box and put it on the wall. So we'll have it up there. I promise you. Sell the MF team, says Eric. Christopher Cole, hey fellas, what's up?
Oh yeah.
All right, sell the Rays. Okay, Eric, we get it. I read your comments. Roger, the Rays aren't going anywhere. Keep this short. AEW is on. Great. Yes, thank you very much for the pronunciation. Go ahead and say it again. There, Louie.
Zalewski.
Zalewski. There you go. Patrick Zalewski. All right. So we got it right.
Yeah, I'm trying to read it.
I'm telling you. It's not Zelensky, by the way, there, Ben Cornett from, what was it?
Zelensky.
Boy. No Dan Aykroyd here. Yeah, Zelensky.
I'm going to be hearing that at night, too, in my dreams.
Zelensky. All right. 8-0 Baltimore. Now it's 8-3. Tim says, just pray that the I's get dotted and the T's get crossed. No walking away by Stu. Roger says, what makes you think this guy will put any money into the team? Because why would you buy a baseball team in the first place and not put any money? Then furthermore, the reason why you build a new stadium is for more revenue. That's how baseball works. It's not all about baseball. It's about not only putting a good product on the field, but making the fans happy. And then when you make the fans happy, here's the amazing thing. Here's the amazing thing about this, Roger Shue. When you make the fans happy, they show up. Wow. Mind blown at this point. Let's go out to Tim. Well, it can't get any worse. Roger again. They'll stay in Tampa, continue to draw 5,000 fans a game.
Shut up!
Stu wants to take the 2. Yep. Abraham, we need a stadium in Tampa. David, is it true what
Hawk Hogan?
About Hulk Hogan. He says Hawk Hogan, but I know you're Hulk Hogan here. That he's in the hospital. He's not doing good.
They're calling about this.
The hospital. Can you go ahead and check this really quick?
Oh, it's supposed. There's really no news about it, but that's kind of like a thing. There's like no how do you say? There's no
confirmation.
Yeah, like
people R. Kelly with the overdose yesterday. They're in prison. People were
R. Kelly.
Yeah, R. Kelly or overdose.
What could you have possibly overdosed on? Piss.
Well, I have no.
That's good enough to suck right there.
You went there. I didn't. Christopher Cole, careful because Stu pullout game is on point. Very good comment. So not Tampa Bay people drive to St. Pete too far for us. Guys, enough. Okay, we read that right there. Very good, Ben Cornett. Let's go out to Roger. Where are the Rays going to play next 5 years? Great question. We'll ask JP at 9:30. Trop is a total loss. Joe Sway says, Peter, are you live on YouTube? Can you check that really quick, producer, if we were live on YouTube really quick?
Yes,
somewhere.
It says here we're live on YouTube, man.
All right. Coming back, boys only made adjustments to 2 series out of the whole schedule. It's not that big of a deal. Joe Sway again. You live in Florida. It's to be expected. Stop being and deal with the heat. Florida is good for 3 things. It's hot. It's going to rain, and there's going to be traffic. There's lots of traffic. Horrible.
Traffic everywhere you go, man. Traffic everywhere you go.
Also, too much money, especially here. Just buy a new stadium. Well, it's a little bit more than just buy a new stadium, but they do have the money. Joe Sway, facts. Joe Sway, again, majority of people don't do multiple Rays games in a week. Again, stop it. And you play maybe 1 day game and a week, maybe 2 at the most. Eric, again, Lakers just sold their team that fast. What was that? $10 billion or something along the lines. The buses there, Jenny Bus. They did. Absolutely. The heat doesn't bother true Floridians. Just they need, new AC babies. Yeah, it definitely need new AC. And as I always say here, if you have a car and it doesn't have air conditioning, throw the car away. Because there's no way you're going to be able to survive.
I went 6 months without AC in my car, and that was brutal. All right, and it was a Cadillac, and my buddy was like, "This is a shame. You have a Cadillac and you're not driving it with AC." I'm like a windows down type of guy, but ever since I got this escalated, I got AC seats now, and I don't ever drive with the windows down. So yeah, you don't have AC in the car. What are you doing?
What are you doing? All right. I used to sit up in the 300 section in September. It got beat up by the sun, rain plenty of times, but don't complain because I know what I'm dealing with. The weather is here, Joe Sway. Again, how come none of these billionaires in Tampa buy the team? Oh, I wish I had money to buy a baseball team. I think we all do. It's not true. He had neck surgery. He's going to be fine. So thank you to the tribal troll for confirming
Acknowledge me.
They were saying something about his heart. It's not his neck. It's something going on with his heart.
Wow. It's maybe baby
during surgery.
That R. Kelly overdosed on baby oil there. Him and
what a procedure with their heart. There you go. There's your confirmation. We are live.
We are live, Lord. There you go. Good stuff. Love the show and our Rays. Absolutely sell the team. Yeah, agree. All right. So the question is out there, Rays fans and Tampa Bay sports fans. What do you think of the news today? With the Rays already in advanced talks of selling this team, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. We're expected to have Leo Haggerty, former quarterback here, Seneca Wallace, of course, the St. Louis Battlehawks quarterback coach on with us here just a moment. I'm the number one webhead. I appreciate you, Alex. As ever, and you will owe me $1,000. You bet me on that. I'm going to collect that $1,000. You bet me. I told you. And we are also on Instagram tonight. We are on LinkedIn Live, YouTube, of course, YouTube Super Chats. If you love the content, Facebook stars, give to it. Let's switch gears a little bit and go with what Mike Florio had to say with his latest rumor of Bill Belichick, shall we? El Bushman says, I have an opinion. Well, Bush, call in 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. You're more than welcome. It's not official. I get it. It's not official. Let's see here. David says, I've drove for years without AC. It's called 245, 2 windows down, doing 45 miles an hour. You better go faster than that, my friend.
Well, I'll give you a trick. Yes. I'll give you a trick. If your AC doesn't work, you have a sunroof, crack the sunroof, roll down the back window of the passenger side, and you'll get that draft coming in that loop. And there's your AC right there. Here's the thing. It was going to cost about $4,600 to fix my AC. The AC compressor completely blew. And shout out to Cadillac, but I appreciate you guys overcharging for everything. It makes my life so much easier. But it's a good thing I do my own stuff.
I always say shout out to Tampa Tesla because my car died there for just a little bit because it wasn't online for 5 years. Thanks a lot to the other car dealership, which will remain nameless at this juncture. 11 hours later, they brought back my Tesla, the real sexy red, go Bucs red Tesla right there. So,
well, speaking of Bucs, real quickly, I got something to add for everybody. If you're unsure about putting a super chat in for Peter, the Frozen Pirate Podcast is doing a free jersey giveaway very soon.
Okay,
any jersey of your choice. So I want to see those super chats, because the way this is going to work is I'm going to give it away not to just somebody or just anybody. I want to give it away to somebody who actually listens to the shows, who's a big web head, who's a fan of the Frozen Pirate Podcast. Any jersey of your choice, but we got to see those super chats.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Evolution.
Peter, Jeremy, how you doing?
Jeremy, what's going on, buddy? What do you think of this news that just this happened today, man? This new group from Jacksonville, Tampa investors keeping this team, it looks like, in Tampa, which I'm not surprised by, but looks like Stu is in advanced talks to selling this team. Your thoughts?
I mean, it's been a long time coming, Peter. You know, me watching JP Peterson, shout out to him. He's been on top of it for a long time.
Yep.
He knew that this time was coming. I'm just glad that it's happening now. That way the Rays fans can get more excited. It's not leaving Tampa. It's going to stay in Tampa. Even though I guess the investor is from Jacksonville, but they're not moving to Jacksonville. It's not going to Orlando. It's coming here in Tampa where it belongs. That way you can that way you can bring more butts to those seats, whatever state and whatever location they choose for the stadium. I'm ecstatic for it. I can't wait. We've been waiting for this for a long time, and now it's coming more to rise to where even the Rays finally, made a statement on it. So it's a great day being a Rays fan, even though we're getting pounded right now by the Orioles, but whatever. Point being is that the Rays are here to stay in Tampa. They're not going nowhere.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere, and I'm not surprised by that, because we heard reports that Manfred was trying to push this deal where Stu would sell it. He likes the market. There's been talks with the governor here and DeSantis. So the whole Orlando nonsensical threat, again, it's just leverage. At the end of the day, it's a pipe dream for them. It's not going to happen. It's going to happen in Tampa, whether it happens in Tampa or St. Pete, which I think it will happen in Tampa, and it gets done. That's what the commissioner, that's what the owners want. And I think, Ray Kennedy made a great point. The reason why Stu took so long or dragged his feet so long on this deal was to get expansion money, try to get as much money as he could. But again, Major League Baseball, they just, they're not going to have this. They're not going to have this anymore. They're not going to have this song and dance. They're not going to have this circus come to town. They're going to send the circus out with the clown himself. Get him the hell out of here, because he doesn't want to be an owner of this team. Because if he wanted to be an owner of this team, he would have did more in the years to keep the fan favorites here and keep the fans happy. He hasn't done that. It's all about the business of baseball, and that is BS. That does not work here in the area. The Lightning have shown what you do. There's a blueprint out there. The Bucs have shown what you do. There's a blueprint out there. And yet this ownership continues to be stubborn. And that's where I'm at this point. Yep. Dragging their feet. Yep.
No, well said, Peter. I mean, like I said, us Rays fans, we always talked about it. Sooner or later, Stu was going to have to give it up, and he's going to have to sell, because he was not fully invested on winning a championship. Yeah, he built young talent, but look what he's done. He's traded them all.
Yeah.
Traded them all for
Well, I got to ask you guys, Rays fans out there, including you, how many World Series championships do you think this team would have won if they would have spent a little bit more money?
Two. Two.
What do you say, Peter?
Yeah, I would say 2 or 3. I think there's certainly a possibility that you could do that, but we will never know at the end of the day, because again, it's you get rid of all these fan favorites. You get rid of guys at the trading deadline to cut salary. It's threats every year. We're going to move. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Fans don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that nonsense. They just want to say, hey, are we going all in? Let's go all in. I get it. You got to rebuild as a team. That's what it comes down to sometimes. You got to rebuild. You got to replenish. But it seems like every other year, this team does that. And again, I'm not taking it away from them. They've had success. But at the end of it, we all know that there's limitations to it. And you can't continue to do the same thing and expect some different results. Because you know what that means? That means you're insane. And that's what it is sometimes to be a Rays fan. It's insane. You can drive yourself insane because you finally like, oh, we got a superstar here and he's going to stay. And then all of a sudden he's shipped out, or this guy is shipped out because why? You got to cut salary. Oh, I can't bite my tongue on this anymore. I can't do this. I can't do that. I mean, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear a multimillionaire complain about how he wants to save money. No, they want to go all in. They want to ownership. Like the Glazers saying, hey, Tom Brady's here. We're going all in 2 or 3 times. We're doing it. We're going all in because we're taking advantage of the opportunity. They want to hear what, Jeff Vinnick and JBB, and especially JBB, we're going to do whatever we need to do to sign our own players, keep them in-house, and also add to that so we can be a cup contender, which, by the way, congratulations to the stinking Florida Panthers. Back-to-back Stanley Cups. Right copycat. There. Yeah.
Hey, they're copycatting us. It's okay.
That's it.
Have that honor.
That's it.
You got to tip your hat off to that, man. They're a physical team.
I promise you this, though, Peter. Let's see how long those Panthers keep it up with their roster. Yeah, they're enjoying it, back-to-back chance. We did the same thing, and look what happened. We kind of fell off the grid a little bit. Not fully off, but you know what I mean? Like, we became a team that got knocked out in the first round. So you never know. That's a different story to talk about.
Right.
But back to the Rays. Fans are tired of excuses. They've been tired for a long time. Now that they sell the team, now we'll see possibly whenever this new owner, what he does and what move he makes.
Yep.
And I think if you add a couple of experienced bats to that lineup with the pitching rotation we have, we got a good shot at making a run.
Yep.
That's just how I feel as a Rays fan. It's like a marriage, and you love them.
Yep.
Just like the players.
Yep.
So that's my explanation on the Rays. I'm just glad that this is happening. I appreciate a lot of Rays fans, especially Ray Kennedy, yourself, JP Peterson, a few other fans around there, that finally something's being done. And hopefully by the end of the year, we have a new owner and we'll make the right moves to help compete for championships. Like you mentioned, the Glazers, Jeff Vinnick.
Yep.
I mean, follow by example.
That's it. Follow the blueprint, my friend. Follow the blueprint. Anything else?
And, now that Bucs mini camp's over, now I can only just really watch baseball, UFC, wrestling. So, the most part, I'm looking forward to football season coming up. I co-host on Buccaneers. We just had a great show a couple hours ago. Had some good guests on, Greg Allman, Matt Matera.
Nice.
JC Allen. We did like a little 15-minute per talk with those reporters. So, we're off to a good start, man. We'd love to have you on, Peter, if you're ever interested, bro.
Absolutely, man. Sounds good. Let's schedule a night. We'll do it to it, and we'll promote it here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. All right?
You got it, Peter. Thank you again, man. Go Bucs, go Rays, go Bolts. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, man. He said go Bucs. So, and I see you, Curtis. You chimed in there. So go Bucs.
Wait up, little boy.
Go Bucs.
Wait up.
Yeah, go Bucs. It is exciting, Todd. Absolutely.
How about them Bucs, baby?
It is. Absolutely. Let me go out to Instagram Live here. Let's go out to Daniel Fernandez. Thanks a lot for tuning in there. Also, I see Benji W Stream there. Appreciate you tuning in, my friend, there from Policy Scout. Daniel says Rays are an owner that cares about winning away from being a championship team. Absolutely. You're absolutely correct about that. All right. So we are waiting for Louie to get back in here. We're also waiting for Seneca and Leo Haggerty. Yes, you're in. They thought they were in the studio, but they are in the wrong studio. So we are awaiting them. And of course, we're going to have JP Peterson on about 9:30, 9:35. Let's continue to read these comments. It is not official. El Bushman, you can have an opinion. Thank you, producer, right there, taking care of business. Let's see. Stu could be getting $9.3 billion less than the Lakers sold for today. Yep. Abraham says, Louie, I think you and Ray Kennedy should do a live show with Peter one day. We will definitely work on doing that. One, I think you said Joe Sway, maybe four.
I see the
08 and 2020 team. Yep, yeah, absolutely.
Popular.
Should have been 2011. Could have been 2011. 2010 was possible as well. So either one of those years. Yeah. I mean, if you add a bat, if you add a pitcher, we're not talking about extending the payroll to the moon. We're just talking about spending 15th or above, because what do the analytics say at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen? There's only been one team in the last, 25, 27 years it's won a World Series. That would be the 2003 Florida Marlins at 26. Everybody else, they have to spend 15th or above at this point. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this is weird. Okay. Let's see. Wrong link. So again, let me just send this out to you, Leo Haggerty. Let's see if we can get you guys on here. But yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. Let me see here. Let's see. Put that in there. Go ahead and go in. Okay. So we're just waiting for them to come on. I don't know what the heck is going on at this point. So we just have to see if we can get him on. All right. I guess Louie is out of here at this point. So we will get him back on in just a moment. And we're waiting our guest. Go Buccaneers. That voice sounded familiar. It was. What's this I hear about Sanders kid driving at 101 miles an hour? Was that in Tampa? No, that was Shedeur Sanders. And then, of course, Mike D.
You heard about that.
Oh, Canada. Yes, we were going to touch upon that with Seneca and talk to them. I don't know what's going on at this point. We can't get Leo on. Can you go ahead and try to send him a link? Because I'm sending him a link, and it is not working at this juncture.
Yeah, my stuff just crashed for some reason.
And it's crazy right now. I think StreamYard is having some problems because we can't get those guys on.
Well, what was it? Last week I tried to send invites and stuff, and it wasn't working too well. And then what was the other thing there? It wouldn't even let me go live. I was late like a couple of minutes.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Gotta love that.
Maybe it's what's going on overseas.
He's showing me right now, but there's no. Yeah, hold on. Let's see here. You're in the wrong studio. You're in the wrong studio. Click on the link. Let's see here. Click on the link that I sent.
Who's that?
Leo.
I just tried to send it to him.
All right. So it wasn't the kid that was trying for the Bucs. No, it's not Shiloh Sanders. It's his brother, Shedeur.
Nah, Shiloh's a decent kid, man. A lot of people, I kind of want to get this out there real quickly, Peter. Actually, finish reading the comments because I've been hearing some stuff about Shiloh. So, let's finish up with the comments.
It wasn't the kid. No, it wasn't. What's up with Tom Brady, UFL, Tampa Bay Bandits? Ownership rumors. We heard about that. Nothing has been confirmed. That would be amazing if that happened. Baltimore 8-4 over the Rays right now. Yeah, I was StreamYard earlier. It kept crashing, so it's not you, Louie. Top 5. And Abraham says, Sun Devil Dave first mentioned it to me. So there you go. And that was a rumor put out there. We don't know to confirm that, so we're not going to, but there is a rumor that Tom Brady would be interested in buying the UFL franchise, once known as the Tampa Bay Bandits. Really quick before we get Leo and Seneca on, what would you think of that? Well, let's go out to the phone lines here. I don't know what the heck is going on at this point with Leo, so we're going to try to get him on. Let's go out to Abraham. Abraham, go ahead.
Yeah, so I want to since Louie started the conversation about Shiloh Sanders, I might as well just start it myself because I'm a big Shiloh Sanders guy. So just because his dad, is Dion and he did what he did during his time, even now, and then his brother's doing a little bit of his own thing, you don't gotta, fault the kid for what his family members do. He's his own individual. And let me be straight with you. He was highly recruited out of high school. He was a cornerback, very physical cornerback. He played Under Armour. He was like in the top 100 in his rank in his class. Okay, I mean he may not be top 5, but top 100. And he got scholarship offers from Florida State, South Carolina, Nebraska. A lot of Division I schools have recruited him to play cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
When he went to South Carolina, they had a shortage of safety. This is 2019. Okay, I met Shedeur and Dion. Unfortunately, I didn't meet Shiloh then. I'm going to hopefully meet him here because he's here in Tampa. But see, Shiloh, his first year, I think they redshirted him. So he only had limited action.
Right.
Then, because they had a shortage of safeties, they moved him to safety from cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
And his mentor was DJ Swearinger. So a lot of his that kind of physical style he learned from his mentor DJ Swearinger because he was mentoring him upon Deion's request. So his playing style can change according to whoever his mentor is going to be in Tampa. And I spoke to Antoine Winfield Jr. and he said he is mentoring Shiloh. So you're going to see a lot of Antoine Winfield Jr. in Shiloh when he plays for the Bucs. Hopefully he makes the squad, but the kid's getting a bad rap because of what his family members do, and then the comparisons are not fair because he is a different skill set than Deion.
Mm-hmm.
He's a physical player. He's aggressive. He doesn't have that world-class speed, but he's a talented player in his own right, and he will contribute. He's very humble. He's hardworking. He puts the work in. He's got a great sense of humor, great personality. He's a team guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's totally different from the persona that people create about his family. You got to understand. This whole primetime thing was, I'm from Fort Myers, Florida. I grew up in Fort Myers, Florida. He played for my neighborhood high school, North Fort Myers High School, down the street from where I grew up. So he was not like that in high school. Deion was not like that in high school. Deion, he started that in Florida State. You should see where Deion grew up in that neighborhood. He grew up in poverty. He grew in the middle of drugs and violence. His mom worked 3 or 4 jobs just to make ends meet. His father was a biological father, drug addict. His stepdad, I knew his stepsister because I went to school with her. His stepdad was an alcoholic, hardworking alcoholic. Sports was his escape. When he went to Florida State, he was a quarterback. He was recruited as a wide receiver. When he went to Florida State, he knew that a defensive back in those days did not make money. So he had to create some kind of persona to get attention on him. And he did all that stuff. That was an alter ego he created to make money. To get and that's all it is. And people are just trying to mix up. Deion's a very shy, subdued character. If you know him personally, he's that kind of person. He is not that persona that he projects. That's only for selling himself and his brand and making money.
All right. So
kind of like a UFC fighter. And when they
stand by, guys. I want to get our guest on here. Hold your thought here because we finally got him on. Let's go ahead and go out to him.
Book him, Dano.
The legend himself, former Coach Counter, now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports right there. Go ahead, producer. There it is. Look at that. There is Mr. Leo Haggerty. Finally, you join us, my friend. What's going on tonight? Welcome to a happy hump day edition, as it's been predominantly lots of baseball talk here because the breaking news of the day, the Rays look like they're on their way to a sell here. Stu, Major League Baseball selling to a group from Jacksonville, and they're going to stay in the Tampa Bay area. We got Abraham on the line. Stand by, Abraham. I want to get your thoughts on that, Leo, that report that came out today about the Tampa Bay Rays possibly selling this team. Your thoughts. Welcome to the Evolution.
Well, before we do that, Peter, has Seneca been able to get in?
I have not seen Seneca at all, no.
All right, I'm going to jump off real quick, send him that link that Louie sent me, and see if I can get him in. But real quick, I'm scared because I don't know what this ownership group is going to do. If they don't go back to St. Pete, where do they play next year?
Tampa.
Where? Steinbrenner Field won't be available.
Well, I think there's some
money talks.
Yeah, I don't know where they would play. That's a great question, and we're going to ask JP because JP Peterson's going to come on with us about 9:30. We may push him back just a little bit there.
All right, let me jump off real quick and get Seneca. All right.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. So we'll get him out of here on this. We should. I guess there we go. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Abraham. Finish up, my friend.
So I want to cut up trying to tell a long story, but I'm gonna cut it short. But the thing is, the kid is nothing like his brother. He's a total different person altogether. He's got experience playing SEC football. He played against the league competition SEC. But I mean, that 2020 year, his season was cut short because of pandemic. He showed out. He transferred to a FCS school, Jackson State, to help his father and brother out. Okay, then he graduated and got his degree, and he has 2 additional years eligibility he used to help his dad and brother out. Colorado, he got a master's degree. So this guy is 100% team player. He is committed to the team, and if he's coached right, he will be as a developmental player. I know they got another UDFA I'm pretty big on as JJ Roberts, but I think if he makes a team, I just think he's will be a better fit in the team. I mean, addition to the team than Josh Hayes. Because I've seen enough of Josh Hayes. Okay. I don't want to see any more of Josh Hayes.
That. Good point. Thank you.
Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to see any more Josh Hayes, please. And I just think that he will be a good special teams contributor and then be a reserve defensive back. I mean, he can play nickel. He can play either one of those safety positions, or they can put him at the dime backer like, Jordan Whitehead did and Dion Buchanan did. So he will be a useful asset to the team. Okay, he's not about himself. He's a team guy. So I don't know where all this crap is coming from. Just leave the kid alone and give him a chance. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. I don't even need to follow up on that because I've been hearing a lot of stuff about this kid, Shiloh. And a lot of people think that because Leo. A lot of people think that because he's Dion's kid that he's going to be a problem. This kid is so far from Dion and Shador. As you've seen, we just talked about that, Peter. Shador got pulled over 101 miles per hour. Don't know what you're thinking, but there was a guy by the name of Henry Ruggs III who went to prison because of that, because he took somebody's life. Don't know why football players think, not just football players, that's for everybody out there. Do not speed. Everybody wants to go fast. Everybody wants to cut each other off. Everybody wants to drive like a maniac on the highway until you take somebody's life. Then then we want to apologize, right? Anyways, meanwhile, back at the ranch, this kid is so far from the personalities of Shador and Dion. He's very quiet. He's humble. He's got a little bit of a mean streak to him, and he shows it on the field. And I keep saying this, Peter, Leo. I keep saying this. This kid is going to come up, and he's going to earn his keeps with the Buccaneers. And I would not be surprised if in a few years, if he's still on this team and he makes an impact, if he's one of the leaders of this team. I would not be surprised. I think he's going to earn his way up, and I think he's going to be a big role for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
We'll see. And, of course, J.J. Roberts also big-time talk, but we'll go back to it. You said you were kind of concerned or worried or still waiting for Seneca Wallace to come on here. And we haven't got him. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard tonight, and it's even affecting. I don't know what is going on with my laptop tonight because I can't even control it. This with my mouse. My mouse is just like malfunction at this point, so I got to use the other thing here, that the pad. With that being said, I was relieved by hearing this information because to me, this is where the Rays, their evolution, if you will, where you start to talk about going all in, signing your own players, trying to win a World Series, getting the ownership that Jeff Vinik is for the Tampa Bay Lightning, getting the ownership that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have with the Glazers. I'm excited about it. You, Leo, you're not too you're kind of concerned, but these are Tampa Bay investors. They want to stay in the Tampa Bay area. Manfred wants to stay in there, and there's been talk, Manfred talking to Governor Ron DeSantis about staying in the Bay Area. So I think you probably should relax a little bit. Do an Aaron Rodgers there.
I can't relax on this one. There's no place to play. And if he doesn't agree, the new ownership doesn't agree to go back to Tropicana at least for a year or two, they're stuck. They're not making any money.
Yeah.
And why would you buy the team to not make money?
True.
Because now it's going to be, let's say you go to Tampa.
Yeah.
It's going to be 3 to 4 years before you get a stadium. You got no place to play.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
Wow.
Because I think they got to make a deal with St. Pete.
Right.
To get this done, to hang there. If not, what's their options? Orlando?
Well, so I'm looking up some stuff right here. It's saying some alternatives.
Do me a favor really quickly. Leo. Take me off a screen really quick. I gotta figure out something here. Stand by. Go ahead and put you two on the screen. No, don't put me. Take me off. Oh, there you go. All right.
I got it. Yep. There it is. So I don't know. I'm looking at some stuff here, Leo. It says 2026 and beyond home options. They can stay at Steinbrenner Field, which I don't know if that's a possibility because I think eventually they're going to tell the Rays, hey, you guys got to pay more. Spring training ballparks in Pinellas County. What do you think about that? I mean, you think they can start to bounce around with some ballparks there? You think that's feasible? Because it's going to take a little bit to fix it. Again, like I was telling the audience, and I told Peter, my expertise on construction, because that's what I do. That's my trade. When you start getting into stuff like that, hurricane that hit over there created some major damage, Leo.
Oh,
and it's not like it was fixed. They assessed it, but it's been how many months now? How many months has it been since anything's been done to that stadium since that happened? October. Okay, so now we're talking October, all right, and now you're gonna have to redo the fields. Never mind the damage that from the rain and the constant bad weather out there. You guys get a lot of rain and stuff like that.
Sewer damage, all the water damage.
Yeah, man. You're gonna start getting into a lot of stuff. Mold, maybe. That can happen. Now you're looking into a couple of years of fixing the drop. I'm gonna mock my words. I'll say it right here on the Sports Web, guys. I don't think it's gonna be $55 million to fix that place. I think it's gonna be double. I'm telling you, because the more you let things go, the worse it's going to get.
Here's the biggest problem is the Rays are out of options. I mean, Louie, you just brought up the fact this team could actually be the Tampa Bay Rays in Dunedin, in Clearwater.
Yeah.
The reason why they may have trouble with Steinbrenner Field, Yankees are giving up their minor league franchise there. That's not going to sit well after a year. It's going to cost money.
Right.
And the fact that the most you can put in there is 11,000, and I'm scared. At least with Stu, he doesn't want to move them right now.
Yeah.
He's looking to sell them. But the people who are buying them, is Tampa, St. Pete a viable option? Probably not in the first year or two.
I think they are. I think they'll figure it out. I think Major League Baseball,
There's nothing to figure out. There's nothing there.
I think they bounce around.
Let's be the Savannah Bananas and go play at Raymond James.
Listen, I'm not saying they go play at Raymond James, but I'm saying if they need to use Steinbrenner, or they need to use a local stadium, I think they'll be able to figure that out at the end of the day. And I think new ownership coming into this deal knows that. There has been some talk of this behind the scenes that we're not privy to. I'm not privy to it, and we'll see what JP's privy to at this point.
We got an update on the game, 8-6.
8-6 now. Rays coming back. So the Baltimore Orioles had an 8-0 lead. So we may be watching history at this point, Leo. Man. But it's a great question. It's a concern.
And Peter, I agree with you. I'm hoping behind the curtain, the Wizard of Oz, is that Major League Baseball gave these new owners, if they buy it, some assurances that we'll cover some of this.
They had to
stay in Tampa,
right? Leo, they've had to have. They had to have given some type of.
They don't have to. That's the problem. We're hoping they do.
Right.
Because what if they just said, we're buying the team to move them? Major League Baseball may just say, hey, we want to get rid of Stu. That's fine.
Well, listen,
it's scary.
All the reports, and I get it. You go back to the Oakland A's situation. Rome, the legend himself, Book it, Dano, right there.
Book him, Dano.
Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Nine Sports Productions. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter, giving you something to think about as we talk about the news today with the Tampa Bay Rays possibly being on for sale. You got Louie from the Frozen Pirate Podcast.
I keep bouncing in and out.
I know.
Apologize.
Okay, I'm used to this.
No, you know what it is? So it was a hot day out here in Mass. It finally got warm. It was like 50 something the other day. I don't understand that. But it actually, it started to get warm. And so I had obviously, Peter, you've seen the state of the garage. It was like a bomb went off in here, remodeling. And I left the door open just to kind of let some fresh air in. And now I got 2 flies just flying around, aggravating the hell out of me right now. You want to talk about annoyance, man?
Well, the annoyance has been this whole stadium talk in the first place, and this has gone on way too long when it comes to Stu Sternberg. So I'm happy that there is some type of step, and I understand where you're coming from on this, but I definitely think Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, the owners feel like the Tampa Bay market is a viable one because you see the TV ratings, maybe not necessarily the people showing up. And we talked about this. Yes, the Rays have been able to be competitive, but also they've had an ownership, especially an owner who's done nothing but say, we're going to move. We're going to cut salary. We're getting rid of fan favorites. And over time, it's like kicking a dog in the teeth. And they've done it over and over again. And that's why you see a fan base that says, you know what? I don't care anymore. We'll just stay at home, save our money. The Lightning don't have any problem with drawing fans. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't have any problem drawing fans. And I get it. It's all about location. But I feel like this city, no matter if it's in St. Pete or Tampa, but these fans deserve an ownership that cares about winning a World Series, that wants to go all in, that wants to do everything that is necessary to be a Major League Baseball team. And there are limitations to this. So I definitely understand the concerns there, Leo, but I feel like, Major League Baseball has a plan, has had a plan from the very get-go. We've heard some of these stories come out from JP Peterson. We're looking forward to having him on there because he's had it from the very get-go. And then they started to report this in March, the baseball insiders, how Major League Baseball once again was forcing Stu and the other owners were forcing Stu to sell them. So, and I think you could see the price tag at this point because talk was that Stu wanted more than $1.8 billion. And now he's only going to get 1.7. So I understand the concerns. I think it's an interesting question, and we'll put it out there for you.
You know what, guys? People don't realize how well the Rays are playing. Consider that Wander Franco.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Isn't even in here.
Right.
No. I equate this to Len Bias with the Celtics.
Woof.
This is pretty much, they were all in
on
the guy they thought was going to be a decade-plus player for them.
Correct.
And now there's nothing to show.
There's nothing to show for it. It's your franchise base. That's your franchise base.
What?
Right.
7 games over 500?
8 game. Well, yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, and what they've been able to do, but I always go back to this. As much as it's a great story, I feel like, it's a superhero movie. I'm tired of seeing the same story. I want you to end it. I want an end game. I want to see a World Series. I want you to see go out and that trading deadline and get an extra pitcher, get an extra bat. Look at the years, 08, 20, 11, 10. The list goes on and on. The talent that's gone in and out of here, what could have been. And that has hurt Rays fans in general. Let's go out to the phone lines here. I believe Eric is using his second call. Welcome to the Evolution as we got Rays talk tonight. We'll go to Bucs here in just a moment.
Yep.
Yes. What's up?
News.
What's the news?
Tied. 8-8 tied. Bottom of the 5th. Let's go Rays.
All right.
Raise up.
Good. Raise up. All right. All right. We'll play the home run because now Rays, listen, they were down 8-0 at this point, and now they are tied with the Baltimore Orioles. And this takes me back all the way, and I'm going all the way back here now, Leo Haggerty and Louie, 1989, and I believe the Cubs were down 8-0 at the time. This is at Wrigley Field, and the Cubs come back and win 9-8. We may be looking at the same thing and experiencing the same thing. Wow, what a comeback by the Tampa Bay Rays! Talk about that offense and Junior Caminero. Wow, so 8-8 right now, Rays and Orioles. So
I called it though, Peter. I did say I said I think it's like. I think of everything kind of going on. I think it's going to be a little slow, but and this is somebody, again, I'm the outsider here. I'm just kind of getting my feet in. I said it. I think it's going to turn into a special season. And I think you guys are going to have a lot of special nights at that ballpark with the Rays. I'm telling you. I did. What was my prediction? Over what? 92 games?
Yeah.
They won?
I said 92, 93 at the time. With El Bush,
they're getting hot right now, and they're not that far behind.
How about that? Down 8-0, and they come all the way back, tied the game up. We'll see what the situation. There you go. Cole says, "Love me some Leo. Hey guys, love the show. Thank you, Cole. Appreciate you as always." CSB brother Ray Kennedy says Leo is tripping. I don't know what that means. I hope you bring up the WNBA Leo Haggerty. We may talk about that a little bit later. We're gonna move on to the Bucs. Cole says, I missed the old laptop, Peter. Well, it's not the laptop. I think it's just the equipment sometimes. It needs to be replaced. and call this history, says Eric. All right, let's move on here. Let's talk some Bucs. Have we gotten confirmation on Seneca at this point?
No.
No.
He only had that half-hour block.
All right. Well, we don't have Seneca tonight. We do apologize about that. But one thing I wanted to mention, and this was brought up by Judy Batista, saying that Baker Mayfield is a dark horse candidate when it comes to the MVP. She says this, often overlooked. Mayfield gave 2 fifth-place votes last season, but he deserves deeper consideration. The Buccaneers have top 5 offense in 2024. Mayfield completed 71.4% of his passes for 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns. This season, he will throw to receivers Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, and first-round pick Emeka Ibuka. Mayfield will have to overcome 2 things to get more serious consideration. He will have his 3rd play caller in as many seasons with the Buccaneers, which is what you are concerned about, Leo, which is a viable concern, if you will. After Liam Cohen left to become the Jaguars head coach, Duval, a new OC, Josh Christer was the passing game coordinator. Duval, so weird. Game coordinator last year in Tampa. And then there's the fact the Bucs play in the NFC South, considered one of the weakest divisions in the game. Thus, the schedule might not be littered with marquee matchups, though Tampa does have games against Philadelphia, Detroit, and Buffalo. By the way, they have dominated Philadelphia. Todd Bowles is the daddy of the Philadelphia Eagles. The Bucs beat Detroit last year, even being injured, and Buffalo, that's a tough game, definitely on the road. But all tough games, but you're playing in the NFC South. Baker Mayfield, a dark horse candidate. Should he be a dark horse, or should he be one of the leading candidates this year, in your opinion? MVP, Mr. Leo Haggerty? Why or why not?
Dark horse. And again, nothing against him, but for him to be the MVP, Bucs got to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the bottom line. Because whoever's the MVP is going to have a deep run in the playoffs. So they got to get there. Again, I'm looking at Buffalo and Baltimore are coming out of the AFC, either one of those two.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh Allen, I'm more worried about Derrick Henry. I mean, dear God. I mean, they're just figuring out how to use them. And if the Ravens figure out how to mesh Henry in with Jackson, whoa.
Yeah.
That's a scarier offense than the Bucs.
Well, they meshed pretty well last year, with what Derrick Henry was able to do. Of course, he's 1 year older, but it certainly seems like he's not slowing down. So that definitely would be in consideration. I think Josh Allen would be the leading candidate.
Well, they boosted up that defense too. The Ravens,
right?
They just signed Jair Alexander, and they did.
Did they sign him officially? Wow.
Yeah. And also, go look at their draft class. You know, Malachi. Yeah. They're in prime position to win a Super Bowl. That's why I said Buccaneers, Ravens, Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield MVP. The question, huh?
Yeah, MVP.
He gets the MVP with. So let's take a look at his stats from this year. 4,500 yards, third in the NFL. 41 touchdowns, tied for second. 16 interceptions. We can get better with that. Passer rating of 106.8, fourth in the NFL. Total QBR 61.6, which is 13th in the NFL. And a little underrated stat out there. He rushed for 60 carries, 378 yards. He averaged 6.3 yards per carry with 3 touchdowns. Those are MVP's numbers. And I'm going to tell you why he didn't get the MVP. Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers didn't get enough wins. That's what it came down to. And so if this guy, I mean, let's just say the Buccaneers got 13 or even 14 wins. He's easily the MVP of the league. Not a question. They need to get more wins than needed. And to what Leo was saying, they have to make a deeper push in the playoffs. You can't be the MVP and get knocked out the first round.
Well, it's true. Even if you have 41 touchdowns, you're absolutely correct. You can improve on that. And, talking about the weapons, once again, it's not just about, the wide receivers, but you having the offensive line intact. And of course, you having that running game, which is scary in itself, that 3-headed monster, which again, led by Bucky Irving. Can he duplicate what he did, or does he have a sophomore slump? at this point. I mean, let's talk about Bucky Irving just a little bit here, because this was talked about when asked about a fresh chapter in 2025. He says, "I'm not a guy that's stuck in last year. I'm just a guy that's willing to put everything else in the past and willing to get better each and every day. Just being able to be better than I was last year." When asked about what he could be better at, he said, "Everything." I love this guy's attitude, and I can understand why the Bucs love him too, because he's looking to improve his game. Of course, pass protection, catching the ball a little bit better, more consistently, and that's the reason why Rachaad White is on this team. So let me ask you, do you have what's your expectations, Leo Haggerty, of Bucky Irving? Can he improve on what he did last year, or is there a possibility, in your opinion, that he has a sophomore slump, especially with these comments that he just had?
There's always a possibility, because now there's game film out on you. That can happen. I would like to see when the Buccaneers sit down and say, okay, we're going to run the ball 30 times. I'd like to see White get 15. I'd like to see Bucky Irving get 10 and Turner get 5.
Right.
That's a perfect mix for what's going on in Tampa Bay, because you don't have a 2-headed monster. You got a 3-headed monster there.
Yes.
They just got to know how to use them. And
right.
I have a feeling you're going to see a lot of specific packages with those backs involved.
Agree with that, Louie. Do you expect any sophomore slump here from Bucky Irving, or do you think he can duplicate or actually better what he did with that 3-headed monster? Once again, Irving, White, and of course Sean Tucker.
He nearly rushed the 12. Let me see here. He was 10th in the NFL. It's pretty impressive for a rookie with 8 touchdowns. I think his touchdown carries are going to go up. I mean, I think his touchdowns are going to go up. I just think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Coach Grizzard, they need to take the same approach as last year. They need to continuously run the football the way they did last year because it's a strong point in the offense. But you have to stay healthy. So can he repeat his performance from last year? I think he could be better. He just has to they have to keep him healthy. He has to take care of his body, as he does. And they need to keep him fresh. So in order to do that, you have to involve Sean Tucker a little bit more. You know, Rachaad White to me is a pass catching running back, picking up blitzes. We've talked about this numerous times. They have to really utilize everybody's role, and they have to play to every running back's strong suits. And Bucky is a very explosive runner. I think he can repeat his performance. He just has to stay healthy. And with staying healthy, they need to learn how to rotate these running backs. It's okay if he takes like a half off. If Sean Tucker is running the football like a madman, I heard a good quote about him, and I thought about this, but I didn't want to be the guy to say it. But I heard it, so I'm going to say it. He does kind of remind me of a little smaller version of Mike Allstott. He is a little bit of a bruising running back. He's not afraid to lower his shoulder. He's a physical running back. He's kind of like a little mini wrecking ball. Yeah. So those guys are going to contribute to Bucky Irving's success this year. So yeah, Leo, I think he can repeat.
I'm sorry, Leo, if you were the offensive coordinator, how would you run this 3-headed monster running back room besides the obvious running with Bucky Irving on the first 2 downs there, bring in White on 3rd down? How would you run this if you're Josh Grizzard?
I would sit down with all 3 on Monday. Okay, here's the game plan.
Mm-hmm.
And who's ever the hot hand in that 4th quarter, you're going to be in the game.
Okay.
So, this is why it's so important to have that guy up in the sky going, okay, White's our guy. We want to ride that horse. Bucky Irving's our guy. Sean Tucker, you got to find the guy who's the hot hand, and then you got to ride that stallion until it falls apart.
Love it. Love it. All right. Good stuff there. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions. Of course, we got Louie from the Frozen Pirate podcast right there.
What do you hear? What do you say?
Curtis, I saw that you called in. If you want to talk Bucs or talk Rays, give me your thoughts tonight. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Anything you want to talk about right now? What is the update of the score? Do we have an update right now? Because
we're 8-8.
Eight.
The Orioles have a guy on second, one out.
The Orioles. Okay, so Orioles right now second. So we'll see what the Rays pitching can do to keep.
And Peter, the crazy part of that whole thing is they put all 8 runs up in the second inning.
That's amazing. That's completely amazing by the Rays, and it's different offense. This offense is scary.
You think they have a little bit more juice now since they found out about the news?
Well, I not only that, but I also think they have juice in this lineup with Josh Lowe being able to stay healthy, Brandon Lau hitting the ball out of the ballpark, and of course, once again, the emergence of Junior Caminero, who, by the way, is the tender age, guys, of 21 years old. Young. Amazing. He's got amazing potential if he continues on this track for him. All right, let's go out to Pro Football Focus. They ranked the wide receiving corps. They have the Bucs at number 2. Little controversy there. They say it was a coin flip between the Buccaneers and the Eagles for the top spot as they earned equal 79-point Pro Football Focus receiving grades in 2024. But Philadelphia's top pass catching options all placed ahead of their Tampa Bay counterparts in the Pro Football Focus position rankings. In the eyes of Pro Football Focus, the fact the Eagles' top receivers graded out higher was enough to put them over the top. Still, the Buccaneers' quality of depth did not go unnoticed. In fact, the Buccaneers win the depth battle through, as Emeka Egbuka, Jalen McMillan, Rashad White make for the deepest receiving cores in the NFL. Mike Evans, 90.2, Chris Godwin, 85.7, Bucky Irvin, 90.5 were all top 15 players in Pro Football Focus receiving grade among qualifiers at the position in 2024. Any problem with? Listen, I know you bleed, Philly cheesesteak.
Hey, I got a question before we go on. Was the tight ends included in that?
I would assume they were.
And that's probably what put the Eagles over the top. Got Dallas Goedert over Otten only because of name only.
Right.
Probably. You take the tight ends out of that, I think it's going to be a horse race, a 1 and a 1A.
I think the Bucs are better. I think the Bucs are.
I wouldn't argue that point.
Right.
If whoever's healthy is going to be the 1, and the other one is going to be 1A.
Yeah. Okay. We're still trying to get JP Peterson on. Can you do me a favor, please, Louie? Can you?
Yeah, Louie's one worked.
Yes.
Peter, the one you sent me keeps going to an old show. Louie, if you could send that to JP, that's the one that got us in.
Please do me a favor. Send that link to me, and maybe I can send that link to JP. Send that in my inbox at this point. As we're producing on air, we appreciate your patience here, guys. So I would agree with that. I think you definitely, Louie, you want to comment while you're doing that? Multitask from producer.
Honestly, Peter, I think the Buccaneers wide receiving room is going to be a little bit disrespected. It's just one of those things. Like, I don't really care about those things. I don't really pay attention to those things because deep down inside, I know who the best wide receiving room is in the NFL, and they're going to say Philadelphia. Why? Because they
the Super Bowl
won. Yeah, the Super Bowl. That's what it comes down to. Let's ask the same question come November, December, and see what it's going to be. But again, I get why they would put the Buccaneers too, because you have Godwin who's coming off an injury, you have a sophomore coming in with Jalen McMillan, and then you have a rookie in Emeka Egbuka, and those guys are your starters. So I could see why they would. If it was a healthy room, I would say, yeah, they're number 1. Right now, I think number 2, I'm okay with that. I don't feel any disrespect towards that. I mean, this is a team that's been getting disrespected for years. So I'm kind of used to it.
If all you're talking about is the top 2 wide receivers, you're going to put the Bengals in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chase and Higgins, I tell you what, you take the Bengals, the Eagles, and the Buccaneers, and just their top 2 wide receivers, throw a blanket over, mix them up, pull one out. I have no problem being 1A, 1B, or 1C. It's going to be
let's stay on this topic here. I mean, because I seen that list. Peter, you saw that? Did you see the list that they have? I think that it was the top 10 wide receiving rooms for.
Yeah.
It's kind of all over the place too. I mean, you have San Francisco at 5. I think the Rams have a better wide receiving room than they do. And with Brandon Ayuk coming off a serious injury, that was kind of questionable. it's fun to do these lists. It's fun to imagine. But I mean, until we get on the field and we start seeing, it's kind of like those things like where we think this one team's going to be bad, and then all of a sudden they turn out to be really good. Case in point, the Denver Broncos. We all thought they were going to be bad, and what happened? They punched people in the mouth. They were a tough defense. You know, Sean Payton had those guys coming out and playing. You know, but I mean, again, with the wide receiver rooms, I mean, if you're going to add tight ends too, I get it, you know, but I'll tell you one thing. If this Buccaneer offense is healthy, especially this wide receiver room and this tight end room, they're going to be very difficult for teams to stop. They're going to be matchup nightmares because, again, if you can utilize the run with the three-headed monster, really look at it. Let's look at the totality of the offense. You have an abundance of talent on the team. You have an abundance of depth on this team. This is the first time I thought last year we had a little bit of depth, and then I seen the preseason. I was like, you know, we got some problems on defense. But this year, you have a lot of talent, not just on the offense, but defense too. Look at your running back room. Look at your wide receiver room. Look at your tight end room. Look at your offensive line going into 2 full years of playing with each other. Yeah. You know, it's scary good. And then you look at the wide receivers with Mike and Chris and Abuka and Jalen McMillan. Honestly, I'll go ahead and say it. I think Sterling Shepard, I think he's going to be better this year. I think he's worked. He knew he had a lot of drops. I was reading an interview he did. He knew he had a lot of drops, and he's saying, hey, I'm taking 200 to 300 extra more reps this year. I love hearing that. Tez Johnson, the rookie, we don't know what he's going to do, but you know he's going to – you know.
What's going on, Leo?
What's going on?
Oh, they send a Rhonda. Either he ran through a stop sign or whatever. They had runners second, one out, and he was out by 20 feet.
Yeah, Aranda's not a fast runner.
Caballero singles to right, and the right fielder has the ball before Aranda even gets to third. And I'm assuming he ran through a stop sign because if that third base coach sent him.
Well, something is going on with my StreamYard tonight. I have no idea what it is. Leo, can you send that link to JP Peterson?
I will make an attempt to it right now.
All right. So I don't know what the heck is going on. I'm disappointed. So we got him out of here. We'll go ahead and go out to the comments here. Wonder Stu's watching the game, watching us make history. And then Eric says, do you believe in miracles? We'll see. Okay, so Leo is back. Yes, the Bucs wide receiving room is being disrespected. And I think it comes down to the fact that, Evans is up there in age. Godwin is coming off an injury at the end of the day. You're not sure about McMillan. We always talk about, the sophomore slump. But watching him and
almost expected though. Yeah. The sophomore slumps. They're talking about it with Jaden Daniels. They're talking about it with a lot of guys. So we'll see. Hopefully the Buccaneers listen, we've paid our fair share of bad juju with all the injuries last year. I think we've paid enough. I think this is our year. I have a good feeling about this year. And I think the younger kids are going to show up big time.
All right, so we're trying to get JP Peterson on. We're trying to get the link situation. There he is, right there. So let's go ahead. Let's go out to him, gentlemen. JP Peterson does a show 5 days a week here, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. And he's a guy that's been in this business. By the way, I don't know if you knew this, 15, 20, 25 years, news broadcaster at Channel
28 years in Tampa Bay, my brother.
28 years.
Covering the Rays since they were a baby.
And he's
wiping their ass.
Listen, and he's had it from the very beginning, no matter if anybody wants to give him credit or not. JP Peterson, welcome to the evolution of
you mean T. Kraz, who blocked me today?
Listen.
Really? Wow. We got Seneca too.
Oh, well, there you go. We got Seneca Wallace coming in here. So, JP, go ahead and give us the latest the situation here because we started out with it. We got the fans' response. A lot of fans out there excited about this deal happening. It certainly seems like it could happen because you look at the price tag and the rumors were that Stu wanted to get more than 1.8. It's now 1.7. So would you assume that this deal was getting done in the background in the last couple months? Welcome to the evolution.
Yeah, we reported this 3 months ago, as you know, Peter, that group of local Tampa business elite Tampa businessmen were offering to buy the Rays. This was the group, the unnamed group we've been calling them because I wasn't allowed to use their names. And this was the group that Major League Baseball was favoring that was going to get it done. This is the group that Manfred wanted. Ken Hagan said today on T. Kraz's show and has told us before that that he knows of this group. He told Manfred that if this group were to buy the team, that he was 100% chance they would get a deal done in Hillsborough County. So that's the deal. This is the group. They're gonna, now nothing's final with Stu, right? This is a letter of intent to buy. It's $1.7 million. It seems like everything's in place, and we'll see if they can get it done. And when they do, they're going to build in Hillsborough County, just like we reported 3 months ago. So yeah, I think it's getting very, very close to the finish line now.
Yeah, it's getting very close to the finish line. We're on with JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show. And, you got investors here willing to do what it takes. I think the question is, JP, you get a new stadium. It definitely helps the revenue. So, of course, hopefully they can spend more money than they have. And they're not going to be so, he's not going to be a tightwad like Stu, which is a businessman, which is, it's hurt this fan base over and over again. But I think the question is, until they get that new stadium done, what kind of plan do you think Manfred has for the Rays and this new ownership going forward? Where are they going to play? Would you say the Stein somewhere in Clearwater? Would they play at Tropicana? Would the city of St. Pete, make a deal with this new ownership for them to play the remaining years out at the Trop? I mean, how does this work out?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't have a great feel for this part of the story. I think I think they could play at the Stein for a couple more years. I know the city of St. Pete does not want to fix the Trop. They want to move on with redeveloping the Trop site. They've tried to get a settlement with Stu because that's what's best for the city of St. Petersburg. But guess what? Stu doesn't want what's best for the city of St. Petersburg. He wants what's best for him. Yeah. So there was no settlement. But now I think with this, the news of this sale, maybe Stu got his settlement, got the number that he wanted. And so that kind of paved the way for this sale. Because I think this, we reported this 3 months ago that they were getting close. But I think the sale of the Trop thing was the settlement there was maybe something that was holding it up. Plus they were in the data room and probably not getting the true numbers that they wanted. That's a whole nother story, but I think maybe he got a settlement from St. Pete. Maybe we'll hear about that in the coming days. But I don't know. Maybe they've said that they're going to go ahead and fix the Trop. I know they put the lights on the other day. But I don't know. I don't have a great feel for this. I know they can play at Steinbrenner for at least another year. I know they've been contracted to do so. Had a couple sources tell me that. Doesn't mean that they won't play in the Trop, but that it's available at least for next year. So we'll see. But I think that's kind of secondary. They'll find a place to play. It's either going to be Steinbrenner or it's going to be the Trop. The important thing is the Wicked Witch is dead. And Stu's got to move on. He's being forced out by Major League Baseball because he's been such a bad owner. I mean, let's not get it twisted. I heard T. Kraz saying today, well, at least Stu made the right move. He had no choice. He was being forced out. If he could have sold it to somebody else and moved the team, he would have done so. But Major League Baseball wouldn't let him do that. So he's been boxed in, like we've been saying for months. He's boxed in. He can't get a deal done in St. Pete. Can't get a deal done in Tampa. Major League Baseball knows that now. So they were forcing him out. And they publicly said they were going to take away his revenue sharing, which is completely unprecedented. The relationship between the commissioner's office, the other owners, and Stu Sternberg had deteriorated so much that he was basically forced to sell the team for $1.7 billion. Not a bad price. He's making about $1.65 billion in profit, not to mention all the money he's already sucked out of this team. But yeah, a new ownership group that'll come in, get a state-of-the-art stadium done in Hillsborough, which will be available with premium seating, which will increase revenues. This is exactly what the Braves did. It's the same template. Build a stadium surrounded by entertainment, residential, commercial buildings that help pay for it. Take that local revenue, like the Braves, I think, made $134 million more in local revenue in year one with their new stadium. Then they put it into the team and won a world championship. While Stu was saying no to Charlie Morton for $15 million, the Braves were saying yes and going on to win a World Series. So yeah, this new ownership group has deep pockets. They will spend money on players. And I've had a little birdie tell me that there's already actually been conversations, not saying it's happening, but conversations about Tampa's own Kyle Tucker being signed by this new ownership group and moving into the new stadium as the homegrown hero. You know, obviously from Plant High School, he just bought a house here in Tampa. He told me personally when I played golf with him, yes, name dropping, that he wants to play in Tampa and he would love to play for a new ownership group, not Stu Sternberg, but a new ownership group that would build a new stadium because he would never play in Tropicana Field. So, yeah, this is all great news. It's long time coming, and I can't wait to see what this market does with a real baseball owner who cares about Tampa Bay, with a real stadium in the right location. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be bananas. It's going to be fantastic.
It is going to be bananas. We're on with JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show. Tune in to this man every day here, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. You talk about location. Is there a sense of where this team could go? A lot of people still say St. Pete, holding out hope, but you feel like it's going to be Tampa.
No, St. Pete. No, St. Pete. I can't believe people are still saying this. It's just ridiculous.
Yes.
No, St. Pete. Major League Baseball will never build a stadium in St. Pete. How many times do I have to tell you this? They're not going to make the same mistake twice. So St. Pete is out. Jacksonville is out. People talking about, the new owner's from Jacksonville. He has plenty of Tampa Bay ties. It's not going to Jacksonville. It's not a big enough market. They've spent all their money on their football stadium. It's not going to Jacksonville. Orlando Dreamers, keep dreaming. They have another lead investor, so he's not getting the team. So that's not happening. As we've told all those Orlando knuckleheads, it's not happening. So it's just like we said it 3 months ago, a Tampa-based group. And I think what's interesting here is that this is a guy in Jacksonville that is the CEO of Dreamfinders Homes. He's been on the Board of Regents or the Board of Trustees, I believe they call it, at University of Florida. He has a lot of ties to Tampa. I believe he's a member at Pelican. So yeah, he's got a lot of. Will Weatherford is on his board at Dreamfinders Home, another Tampa connection. Evan Klosky found out in a public record that he met with Jane Castor last month. I'm sure they weren't talking about building townhomes in Tampa. No. So yeah, it's going to be Tampa. It's going to be Hillsborough County, and hopefully it happens soon.
And there's supposedly a relationship if you connect the dots, because it's always about connecting the dots, right, JP? That Ron DeSantis had some talks with not only Major League Baseball, but also there is some type of close relationship with this gentleman.
Patrick and DeSantis are really good friends. In fact, DeSantis appointed him to the Board of Trustees at the University of Florida. So yeah, they're very tight. Of course, DeSantis is from Dunedin and also plays at the Pelican. As I've said many times on my show, this is a very Pelican-centric group of people. That's where the rich people play golf, Peter, in case you don't know.
There you go. I never know. Maybe sometime I got to get out there and do it. So what's your bet on? Is it Ybor? Is it the Fairgrounds? Is it possibly by Raymond James Stadium? What's your hunch at this point? What are you hearing, Mr. JP Peterson, about the new location of the stadium once it gets done?
Well, I think Fairgrounds is in play. I think there's still a site in Ybor, despite what's been reported. I think there's still a site in Ybor. Ybor Harbor may still be available, or another site in Ybor. People are now talking about the dog track area. Ken Hagan mentioned that today on T. Kratz's show, 275, the old dog track, because there's, you can put in a sports book and stuff like that. So that could be an interesting site as well. And I do think Ray J is a site as well. I think that's something that could be very, very interesting. And if they could partner with the Glazers, who obviously are, need a renovation and a roof on Raymond James Stadium.
Yeah.
Then I think that would be really, really interesting.
Do you think there's any chance? And I'll leave you with this, and because I know you got things to do here. You got sources you got to dig up. You got to get with the guys.
I got 17 more shows to do.
Yes,
Peter,
I know you
now
do.
and tomorrow.
It's gonna be a long night for you, man.
Is there any chance, besides a Dumb and Dumber chance, that Stu Sternberg backs out of this deal, or do you think it's ironclad at this point? And this is Major League Baseball and the owner saying you got to sell the team. It's done. Get out while you can. Do you think there's any chance?
unlike the other situations, I don't think he's in control of this situation. I think Major League Baseball has made it very clear that they want him to sell. And why wouldn't they? They have the 11th largest market here with the 15th largest market just, 80 miles down the road in Orlando. Move it closer to Orlando, more accessible to Orlando, more accessible to obviously all parts of Tampa. And they're not leaving the market. Manfred has said that. He loves the Tampa market. I mean, this is a great opportunity for them. All the other owners now know that Stu has been holding up expansion, been holding up everything as he just continues to bank money, at the drop because he doesn't pay any rent there. So the gig is up. He's got to sell. I think if it were just left up to him, I think it would be, very I would be more cautious about it. But I think Major League Baseball is putting the hammer down on him, and this deal's going to get done.
Which, by the way, you reported months ago, we talked about on this show ad nauseum. JP Peterson, you had it from the very get-go. We give you credit where credit is due.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, go ahead and promote yourself here because we'll see you soon. Bucs season right around the corner.
That's right.
Here. We got post shows. We got pre-shows. Go ahead and promote yourself here on the Sports Web, my friend.
Yeah, at the JP Peterson show every weekday from 10 to noon will be an emergency shows as needed, as we did today. So you can go check out my Twitter at JP Peterson show. We did an emergency show today if you want much more on what we just talked about. And then you can watch the same time, 10 to 12 on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, and also as a podcast on Apple and Spotify and anywhere you get your podcast. Thanks for having me on, Peter. Appreciate it, brother.
There you go, my friend, JP Peterson, partner. You did a hell of a job, bang-up job.
Thank you, JP.
When this happens officially, listen, you know me. I'm not much of a drinker, but I'm ready to take some shots with anybody and everybody that's a Rays
fan. Celebrate, baby. The Wicked Witch is dead.
Ding dong, the witch is dead right there. JP Peterson, thanks a lot.
Bourbon, maybe? None of that Chattanooga whiskey stuff.
Whatever.
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. There you go. JP Peterson.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Good stuff. I believe we got our former quarterback on here, not named Brad Johnson, but Mr. Seneca Wallace. Is that true? Is he on?
We do.
Here we got Leo Haggerty still with us. That's why I say you got to tune into the show because you never know. Like we schedule guests and sometimes stuff happens. So we just roll with the punches. We read comments. We update you on baseball scores. We try to make history. Leo, you heard the interview. You feel a little bit more calmer after hearing the great JP Peterson talk about this deal in motion at this point.
No, I want to see the ink dried on the paper.
Leo,
I'm with Leo. I feel the same way because I feel like we've been seeing this story over and over again. Like supposedly you guys got the new stadium deal. When was it last summer?
Yep.
And then that never fell through.
Yep.
And then it was Ebor, and then that never fell through. Unless I'm with Leo, unless I see ink to paper, finalized, deal done, then
I'm the doubting Thomas. I need to see the holes in the hands and the.
Well, listen,
hey, we got a guest, man.
Yeah.
We've had him waiting long enough.
Yeah, let's see if he's going to be on here. Seneca, of course, St. Louis Battlehawks quarterback coach there. And, of course, former NFL quarterback. We'll see if we can get him on whenever he's ready to come on. We didn't want you to wait, but we did have this breaking news today in the Tampa Bay area about this.
He's ready. There he is.
There he is right there. The long-lost Seneca Wallace. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. How are you doing?
Yeah.
He is.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you.
Yeah, brother,
Come on, man. Look, I'm doing it all, fellas. Look, I apologize. You know, life is crazy right now. As long as I can talk to you guys and I can love on some football, that's all that matters. I know you're not going to be able to see me. I'm out walking with my son right now. I have 4 months of like backlog, and I got to make up with it with my kids. So I apologize, man. What's going on?
Hey,
Listen,
family first, brother. Family first.
No apologies on this show. Anytime you give us any time of your life right now, and I want you to definitely be a regular on this show and talk quarterbacks. But I want you to go back to your season there as, of course, quarterback coach of the St. Louis Battlehawks. Just give me some type of feeling. I know it's not the way you wanted to finish, but just kind of give me kind of talk about that experience in the UFL, man. Welcome to the evolution.
Man, first of all, thanks for having me again. I apologize for my tardiness, number one. Number two, I apologize that you guys can't see me. I'm out on this walk trying to get back. I literally jumped out of my car because it was on Bluetooth in my car and you guys couldn't hear me. So I just parked it and now we're walking. But if you guys can still hear me, I mean, the UFL deal was okay, perfect. It was awesome, man. It was a great experience. It was a grind though. When you're working in the UFL, you don't have the luxury of having a big staff. All right. So you have 8 guys working on both sides of the ball. So you got 4 offensive players or coaches, and you got 4 defensive coaches, and you have 1 head coach, which ours was Anthony Beck. So we hit the ground running. Obviously, for those who follow the UFL, we were 8-2 going into the championship round, and we played DC, and DC was a really good team. They played physical against us the first time around. They hit us in the mouth, and we never countered, and we struggled, and we lost that game. And then the following week, I lost my starting quarterback with an Achilles. Enter Max Duggan. And Max Duggan, as we all know, played at TCU. He comes in, and he leads us to a 6-game winning streak. And so we end up getting in the postseason, but, Max had his struggles. There were some things that as far as from a physical standpoint, mechanically, he had his issues, and DC knew it, and DC lit us up in the championship round, and we ended up losing pretty bad. So we ended the season 8-3. DC went on to the championship the following week and beat Michigan. Yeah, but it was a great experience, though. Great experience.
Yeah. It seems like it was for you, and how is it to coach under former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, former New York Jet, Anthony Beck? Because I've talked to him before. He's a great guy to talk to. I'm really happy for him to get that he got that job. But what's it like to coach under Mr. Beck there?
Well, Anthony was a really good dude, man. He actually had me interview for the offensive coordinator job when he first got the job about 3 years ago. And, we didn't know know each other really going into this deal. I met him at the NFLPA Bowl down in California about 4 years ago. And so he said, "Hey, Sin, I'm really intrigued about your story and the things and your knowledge of the game. And obviously you played it. I want you to interview for the, offensive coordinator job." And he ended up picking Bruce Kukowski, which was fine. That was his boy. They had a relationship that went way back, but really patient. I had to give him his flowers because we were dealing with a lot of stuff internally as far as the coaching staff goes. That's a huge, huge deal, man, is you got to have your coaching staff and this such a quick window of opportunity to kind of build some success. You got 3 to 4 months to try to win games. You don't have OTAs, mini camps. You don't have none of that. And so when your staff is not all on the same page, and we have a great staff, myself, Donnie Abram, Chris Claiborne, we had a really, really good staff of guys. Mark Colombo was our O-line coach. Leroy Glover was D-line coach. So we had a staff of really good professional guys that know the game. But we had, one loose bolt in our unit, and it really cost us a little bit, I believe, in the championship game. So, he handled everything internally the right way, very patient. He understands the UFL game. And I think at some point, we might see him get an opportunity to coach in college.
Wow. And you
know what, Peter? Let me jump in.
Yeah.
We got an update. Tampa Bay 12, Baltimore's 8.
Wow. By the way, Seneca, game started out. Baltimore was up 8-0, and the Rays have come all the way back to take the lead. So amazing stuff going on here.
Special season.
Seneca, I got a question for you.
Yes.
And I thought Coach Johnson, when he took the Chicago job, somebody said, "What's your major thing to get across to Caleb Williams?" And I thought this was the most prophetic answer. My job is to make him comfortable with the uncomfortable.
There you go.
How important is that to make these situations that are really uncomfortable just become comfortable?
Well, what he's saying, he answered the question right. I mean, as a quarterback, so much of 4 quarters of football is about how much you can strain mentally and how much you can strain physically, right? And so if I can train Caleb Williams to get himself in position mentally where he's super uncomfortable with everything that comes his way, from a play call to alignments of his receivers if they're misaligned, to the cadence, to the protection. The more knowledge and the more uncomfortable he's straining his mental capacity, the more easier the game is going to slow down. And obviously, as we know, with his body of work and what he did with the Detroit Lions, he was dealing with Jared Goff, a guy who actually took his team to the Super Bowl. So this is a guy that understands the game of football. Caleb Williams is still young. He's still transitioning into the National Football League. So I got to try my best in OTAs and mini camps to get him to strain, to be uncomfortable and be comfortable in those uncomfortable situations. And the only way you can do that is just by preparing him mentally with the game. How much can he digest so the game ultimately slows down when they have to play on Sunday nights or Thursdays or whatever day that is?
Seneca, Louie here from the Frozen Pirate podcast. I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So all these quarterbacks are coming into their sophomore year, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Caleb Williams,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera. There's a guy out in Foxborough, big shoes to fill, in the name of Drake May. How do you think his season's going to play out this year from what you've seen last year? And do you think he can be a top-tier quarterback in the NFL for years to come?
It's crazy, man. I mean, a lot of the success, and I know we talked about this before, it's really all predicated on what other people they have around them. Let's just be honest. If you can get the right offensive lineman in front to protect, if you can get the right guys on the edge who can catch the ball, if you can get the right running back to run the ball, to pound it when it gets late into the postseason, that's all predicated on how successful your quarterback is going to be. But if you're asking a kid like Drake May to go and take the keys with not a lot of help, he's going to struggle. And we're not even talking about the play caller. The play caller is important. We've seen that. Cliff Kingsbury is calling plays for Jaden Daniels with the Commanders, and he's had success. He knows exactly what he has with Jaden Daniels. They went out and they added Deebo Samuels, right? And you even take Brock Purdy, for example, with the Niners. We know why he was successful. They had a great defense. They ran the ball well with Christian McCaffrey, and he, quote unquote, managed the games to a high level. So you got to have, and we're not even talking about Shanahan, his offensive play caller. So if you have the right mix and the right ingredients, that's how well your quarterback is going to perform. So if he doesn't have that in New England, he probably is going to struggle a little bit going into his sophomore year.
Yeah, you kind of wonder if he is Stephon Diggs, being the number one wide receiver. And listen, he's semi-talented, but first I believe he's coming off an injury. And then on top of it, he's been somewhat, if I'm going to be fair about this, a quarterback killer. And I don't know if I would, as talented as he is, if he's not getting the ball, if he's not involved in that offense, he can certainly, in my opinion, ruin your quarterback. What did you think of Stephon Diggs going to the New England Patriots? And do you think this will turn out well? Because Diggs was productive with the Bills, but eventually he worked himself out of there. He was productive with the Vikings, but eventually worked himself out of there. Do you think the same thing could happen with the Patriots, Seneca?
I think right now where it's coming to a point where he is in his career, I would hope that he kind of understands where he is. It's his job as a leader to help develop these other young quarterbacks. I mean, we know he's not going to be at the top as a number one, even though they might have hired him, then brought him on to be the number one or number two receiver. But at the end of the day, I do believe he can help this ball club win games. Now, it's just a matter of how he comes prepared. It's a matter of what other pieces they have around him. Because, again, like you said, he's coming off of an injury with Houston. And so I think right now it's the jury's going to be out. We're going to have to see exactly what kind of player he's going to be for the New England Patriots. They have a new head coach, obviously, with Vrabel taking over. So I think they're going to have a different mindset. They might pound the ball more and then take their shots when they can with him.
All right,
I agree with that. And I don't think it would get too far if things start to get out of hand to what you were saying, Peter. Vrabel is a kind of like a no-nonsense guy. I was watching a lot of that stuff, the Forged and Foxborough thing. He's very straightforward with these guys, and I don't think he will allow his locker room to become a circus, if you will. I don't think he's that type of coach. So
you know what, Seneca? You've been a quarterback. You get in the huddle. Every wide receiver comes back to the huddle and tells you he's open every play. That's just the mentality you're dealing with, correct?
Correct. If I heard you correctly, every quarterback always thinks they're open. Receiver always thinks they're open. Every receiver always wants the ball. And that's not a bad kind of trait to have. But at the same time, you have to understand, ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, if you're trying to win a championship, it's going to take all 11 players doing their part on a really good caliber team.
Seneca, let me back that one up with another one. What's the one thing a quarterback in the NFL has to have to be successful?
Ooh, what is one thing a quarterback has to have in the NFL to be successful?
Yeah.
Oh, a short-term memory. That's easy. You have to have you have to have a short-term memory, man. I mean, because there's going to be highs and lows throughout a game, and you're going to try your best to minimize the mistakes. You're going to try your best to appease every receiver, every running back, because there's so many emotions involved throughout the course of a game. And if you don't control those emotions, and if you don't control the highs and lows and peaks and valleys throughout a game, it's going to be very hard. So you have to have a short-term memory, and you got to be very resilient if you're going to play this game at a high level.
Especially if you're a quarterback in New York, right?
Yeah, see the
Did you guys hear me?
Yeah, we didn't hear you. Especially if you're a quarterback in New York.
Hold on, I told you I'm in this where I'm at right now. I'm probably losing service on this hot Texas heat day, and where I'm at right now. All right, hopefully I got you guys back. I got a few bars.
Yeah, we can definitely hear you. You said about New York, and we're on with Seneca Wallace, former NFL quarterback. Of course, Battlehawks, St. Louis Battlehawks quarterback coach. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions. And, of course, Louie from the Frozen Pirate podcast. Do you think that's the reason why Baker Mayfield has had so much success in his career? Because he's had a short memory, although he does play with the chip on his shoulder, if you will. And we were just talking about him also being a dark horse candidate to be an MVP. So first, Baker with a short memory, is that why he's so successful? And on top of it, being a dark horse MVP. What do you think about that?
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me hear that. Let me hear that correctly. Who's the dark horse MVP?
They said Baker Mayfield. He had 41 touchdowns last year. Yes.
Baker Mayfield. Look, I must give Baker his flowers as well, because I think he again, you talking about, now I might have heard this correctly. You talk about somebody being resilient. That's an individual who is very resilient. We were ready, as the NFL was ready to write him off after he took his stint to Carolina. And this guy has now resurrected his career. And I think we talked about this before. Yep. It pretty much says who he is as an individual. We know he was in Oklahoma, where he was a walk-on, and ended up doing the things he did at Oklahoma. So this is not something that's new for Baker Mayfield, to have to deal with adversity and showing his level of resiliency. And so with him, would I sit there and say that he deserves to be in the talk of MVP talks? I would say yes. But obviously, with the situation that they have going on down there in Tampa Bay, obviously their offensive coordinator has left. Now he's with Jacksonville. And so now they're going to have to figure out what kind of play call selection is going to happen that's going to work for Baker Mayfield. But he's at the point of his career. I think that most offensive coordinators are going to try their best to kind of tailor their offense around Baker Mayfield and the rest of those weapons they have down there in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. You know what, Seneca? When you talk about that, how much input does the quarterback have into the game plan? When they're sitting there and creating a game plan,
what do they have into the game plan?
Yeah, how much input do you have into that offensive game plan as the starting quarterback?
Yeah, the quarterbacks definitely. Even with us, when I was in, with St. Louis this year, I wanted to make sure that my quarterbacks, my job for our install for every week was I had designed and installed the red zone. And if I didn't ask, Manny Wilkins, or I didn't ask Max Duggan or Brandon Silver, as far as their input goes on what they liked in the red zone, I was doing them a disservice, because ultimately they're the ones out there pulling the trigger. They're the ones seeing rotation. They're the ones seeing cover 2, cover 4, cover 66, whatever the case may be. So if I don't put in the right game plan for them, it doesn't matter. So it's the same thing in the National Football League. Ego's got to be pushed out to the side. If you want to win ball games, you have to make sure that you have a little bit of input by your quarterback on what he feels comfortable with doing. They have this thing called Fast Friday. Every team throughout the league, you have your base install on Wednesday. You do your short yardage, your goal line, and all your situational stuff on Thursday. And then you have red zone on Friday. And usually it's quick. So you have one day to prepare for the red zone package. And it's very, very important. So you have to make sure that your quarterback understands all those different levels that go into putting together a script and a game plan. And it has to be, they have to be 100% comfortable with that.
You know what, Peter? I would love to keep Seneca on, but he's walking with his little guy, and it's pretty much dark in Dallas. Do we think we need to let him go?
Yeah, we should definitely let him go. He did mention a former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Donnie Abraham, as a defensive coordinator. What's it like to be on the coaching staff with Donnie Abraham? Well, I think we lost him. I think we lost him. All right, Seneca, we appreciate the time, my friend.
Hey, how many guys have come on in the middle of the night, Peter?
Yes.
That's fabulous.
That is fabulous. Absolutely.
And you know what, guys? I am way past my pitch count.
Yes.
And I will talk to you, Louie, tomorrow night.
Absolutely, 7:30.
And by the way,
we got your back.
No, I think we lost him.
We lost him. All right, so go ahead and let him go, Seneca. We appreciate it. Yeah, we'll let him go. Louie, get the lower third off the screen there for me. I'm still producing at this point. Surprise, guys! I will be on with you tomorrow night.
Oh, good.
You will.
I usually go out and do Uber, but we're not going to do that. We're going to stay on. I'm going to try to let you guys do your show. But I'm going to also have phone calls. So if you guys didn't get phone calls tonight, you'll get phone calls tomorrow there on the Frozen Pirate podcast. And I think we'll continue to do that on Thursday nights, because you guys do a hell of a show, but I want to be a part of it. And if we can add phone calls to it, and of course, sound effects like this.
Oh, yeah.
And sound effects like this.
Yeah.
Welcome, Dano.
Then that's what
Welcome, Dano.
That's right. All right, Leo, go ahead and promote yourself. Get out of here, man. We appreciate it. Oh, by the way, what's the update on the score right now with the Rays and the Orioles?
It's 12-8,
top of the ninth.
12-8, top of the ninth, and Brandon Lau, I believe, has gone yard and hit it all the way to Del Mabry. So,
he hit it over Dale Mabry. That's somewhere in the parking lot of the Bucs.
Amazing stuff. All right, Leo, we appreciate the time. We'll see you soon, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Take care, guys. Have a good one.
There he goes, right there. So we'll come back to the 2 shot there, producer. Let's go back to the other. That's a nice shot there, but we can go back to the new one that you got. Oh,
that one right there. You're talking about that right there. That
Beautiful.
right there.
Beautiful,
right there.
man. Yeah, look at you.
Hey, man, hell of a show so far, man. We kind of prepared for the worst a little bit.
Yeah.
We produced on the fly. It was a good learning experience for me. Doing a lot of stuff on the fly.
Yes.
We have breaking news. The Rays are going to be sold. They're going to be sold. I'm going to tell you right now. They're going to be sold.
Yes.
We had Seneca on. Always good insight from Seneca. I love picking his brain. Especially, I'd like to get him back on, man, and really pick his brain and what he thinks about the next future wave of quarterbacks. I wanted to ask him about Shador. About that situation, but we'll save that for another time. And then JP Peterson joining us, and then just laying the smackdown. That dude, man, he knows.
Yes, and we'll have to get him on your show too. Get him on the Frozen Pirate podcast. Once again, if you don't know, go ahead and promote that on Thursday night at 7:30. Go for it.
Thursday night, 7:30, right here, exclusively on the Sports Web. Peter's going to be on tomorrow. He's going to be producing. We're going to get some live call-ins. Guys, call in.
Yeah.
Feel free, man. You guys want to debate with me? You guys want challenge me on some topics, go right ahead. Tomorrow's show is going to be a little bit different. I don't really know what we got so far. I know me and Leo are going to do some talking. I don't know what yet. I think we're going to be talking about maybe some defenses because Leo likes to think that he said the 99 Bucs defense or the 97 Bucs defense is better than the 2002. So I think I'm going to debate with him there. And then, it's tough, Peter, because you know what? I think I'm going to do some race talk tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to do some race talk tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
So, guys, 7:30. If you guys want, go like and subscribe to the Facebook channel, Louie Lateo, the Instagram, the Frozen Pirate Podcast. It's the same through all the social medias. It's a lot to say, Peter, but we have a lot to say. I will say that we have a lot to say, but it's been an awesome show.
It has been. All right, we'll get a couple more Bucs topics, and then we'll move to Turnbuckle Talk. Curtis, you want to call back? Alex, you want to call back? Feel free. I know you're excited. I know there's a lot of Rays fans that are excited. Only 3 outs away from an amazing comeback by the Tampa Bay Rays. Just amazing stuff. Now Rays 2 outs away as Eric is doing the update there. So we appreciate you. This is what Rondé Barber had to say. Our number 1 impact rookie, you might not believe this, is David Walker. He says, I don't know anything about him until we picked him. And then you go and you look at what he did when he put on the film. You're like, holy cow, this dude has the mentality. It's kind of like this underdog mentality that makes people respect him. He says, I'm not making this comparison certainly to David Walker, but when Bucs got really good when I was playing, it was because we went out and got Simeon Rice. We dominated teams after that because of the pressure generated from the edge of our D-line. We need someone to do that. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on him, but David Walker looks like a guy who could do that. He says, Walker, of course, was drafted even after general manager Jason Light signed a free agent pass rusher and Hassan Reddick to a 1-year prove-it deal. And, of course, Chris Braswell. Walker led FCS with 23 tackles for loss. 10.5 sacks last year, and then that's the type of pass rush that head coach and defensive coordinator Todd Bowles is looking for along the front line of the defense. We talked to 5th-round pick Elijah Roberts, who I definitely think will have something to say about that rotation. But David Walker, is he right on the money? Could he be the rookie that we're not focusing on because Benjamin Morrison has been talked about, Ibuka, Jacob Parrish, but should it be Walker in your opinion?
It's tough for Walker just because he's going to be in a rotation of guys. So, But I mean, if you look at his college statistics, Peter, I mean, they're off the charts. The kid was good. And I could see why he's a Todd Bowles guy, just because, again, Todd Bowles is going to kind of emulate what the Eagles do, just in a different 3-4 hybrid system. The Eagles would rotate defensive linemen. And I think that's why Todd Bowles drafted this kid. I mean, if you look at his stats, he's 39 sacks, 82 tackles, all in the course of 4 seasons. That's pretty impressive for that kid.
Yeah.
Buck Buchanan Award winner, FCS Defensive Player of the Year, Senior Bowl standout, showing pass rush potential versus top-tier competition. That's those statistics you want to see. So in my opinion, a kid like this, bringing him in, there's really his expectations, like the bar for him is very low. It's up to him to put it all together and get after the quarterback and make splash plays, and I think he can. Todd Bowles sees something in him. I talked about this briefly when they first drafted him. I said I like this pick a lot. I think he's going to be a kid that is going to be a standout for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And again, I'm going to tell the webheads this year, Buck fans. Watch the preseason. Just watch the preseason.
Watch the preseason. Well, we got some breaking news.
What is it?
Rays win. Final score 12-8. Down 8-0. They claw
epic meltdown by the Orioles
back to win. Amazing stuff by the Tampa Bay Rays tonight. And now I wish I had my TV in here to watch the whole thing. I don't think I could have done that. I probably could have done the show. I probably would have given you play-by-play there. But congratulations to the Tampa Bay Rays. 12-8 coming all the way back versus the Baltimore Orioles. And
40-33, man. Remember when everybody thought the ceiling was falling?
Yes.
And I said there's a lot of baseball
Fire
to be
Kevin
played.
Cash. Fire everybody.
Yeah.
Fire this guy. Trade this guy. The season's over.
Sounds
That's
familiar
fine.
too during the season with the Bucs too. Let's
Yes.
fire Todd Bowles. And what do I keep saying, Peter? Tampa fans, relax. The sky is not falling.
Yes, it's a long season, by the way.
Victory!
There you go, right there. The victory. Love that. A victory screech. How about the Rays? You could do a victory screech. I don't know if you can do it on the show. I guess you could. Alex, I know you want to call in. Ray Kennedy, I see that you wanted to call in here. Stand by. Hold on a sec. I'm just reading some comments here. Let me go out to Tampa Bay. Ray Kennedy here, because I know he'll have something to say here. Hopefully he's not he's not drunk or he's not out of it. I think he's still probably watching the show. I would figure that he's still watching this show. Let's see if we can get him on really quick. And of course, it's going to voicemail. So there you go.
Your call has been forwarded to automated voicemail.
Kennedy, I'm unable to take the call
Yeah,
right
you ready?
now.
Okay. We're going to leave him a message. Hold on a sec. Ray, you there? Hello? Oh, Ray, you're there? Oh, guess what? You missed the call here on the Sports Web. We were going to call you and get your analysis, but here's what you get. There you go. That's what you get, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. Alex, I know you wanted to call in, so call in if you want to. Curtis, you can call in also. Open phone line, 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. One more Bucs topic, and then we will go to Turnbuckle Talk and end it for the night. Let's see. What do we got here going on? Okay, good. I saw Ray Kennedy in there. Let's see. Hold on. We just called you, Ray. Thanks a lot for missing it. We just called you. Let's see here. Hold on a sec. I'm just messing around as we are producing on air.
Don't you get in trouble for being on your phone at work?
I do get in trouble for being on my phone at work, but guess what? This ain't work, and nobody can send me home. You know what I have to say to people that say don't be on your phone during your show?
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
There you go. All right, let's go out to Kay Adams. She had some great things to say. Of FanDuel Network right there. She does Up and Adams.
The K Adams?
Yes, the K Adams. Yeah. She says, who has it better than Baker Mayfield right now? If you look at the room, the offense so deep, so loaded, they're so overlooked. It makes me love them. I think Tampa should be getting a lot more attention in the NFC. We'll get back to those comments in a moment. Let's go out to Alex. Alex, your thoughts. Rays come all the way back, my friend. 8-0 down to win 12-8. Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Rays, my friend.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you right now, this team is feeling some really good vibes. Rays fans are happy. A potential new owner, winning baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, brother. The vibes are good.
Listen, man, I'm with it. I'm with it, man. I'm with it.
What an incredible comeback of the what an incredible comeback. Once again, Taj puts the Rays down again. I don't know what's going on with him this year. I know we've talked a few times on the show about he's not looking himself this year. Yeah. I just think he needs to get out of that starter's role, but once again, he gives up 5 very quick runs. They send the ball over to, I believe, Kevin Kelly. He blows another 3 runs. But I'll tell you, man, after they pulled Kevin Kelly, the Rays went on to no-hit Baltimore the rest of that entire game and mount on an impressive offensive comeback. So, man, vibes are good right now. The Rays are playing some red hot baseball, which, by the way, that was the Rays' third. It's actually tied for their most largest comeback. So they've done it 3 times, down 8 runs. I think the last time they did was back in 2011.
Wow.
I believe. So, hey, listen, now Great vibes, man. Really good to hear from JP Peterson today on his thoughts, man. I did catch that part of the show, which, by the way, as always, I appreciate you and Louie always put on a great show.
Yeah.
For the fans. I know we really haven't been talking much Bucs lately, but man, I am locked in on these Rays, baby. They are playing some red hot baseball, which, by the way, get this. Here's the best part of the news.
Yeah.
The Yankees are on a 6-game losing streak, just got swept by the Angels.
There you go.
That's good enough to suck right there.
That's what Tom Brady thinks of the Yankees. Yes.
The Rays went from 8 games under 500, 9 games back, to only a game and a half back.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Dude,
guys, thank you so much for the show. Keep doing what y'all's doing. Bringing the vibes. But I'm not bringing no nonsense tonight. So bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any freaking nonsense.
Yeah, there it is. There it is right there. All right. Good stuff, Alex. Appreciate the call, my friend. It's been a heck of a day for him. So he's excited. I think there's a lot of excitement. I'm looking at Ray Kennedy right now. He says, dude, no, great show. Just couldn't talk. Sorry. All right. So we will not get him on. We'll finish up with Kay Adams, and then we'll go to Turnbuckle Talk, and we'll end this show off because I got to get up early. You got to get up early, and we got to do a show.
Believe it or not, Peter, that night that I stood up late doing the show, I didn't go to bed until 12:30. I woke up at 4:15. I got right out of bed. I wasn't even tired. Went right to work, no problems.
Love it.
But yesterday, when I went to bed at a decent time, like 9:30. Woke up groggy, hit the snooze button, full 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
groggy. I don't know. It's weird. My body works better with 4 hours, 5 hours of sleep. I can't do 8 hours, man. I was like, yeah, I'm getting older, 37. I'm gonna try and solid 8 hours, Louis. Solid 8 hours. Let's go.
Solid 8 hours right there. Eric says LFD party time. Yeah, bull spit. Kevin Cash deserved flowers today. Absolutely. Rays offense and the Rays pitching. After they give up 8 runs, deserves their flowers. Cubs Rays World Series. Christopher Cole, we will see. I like the thought process, my friend. Good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Too early. Too early.
Kay Adams says they like being slept on at this point, though, right? It's like we do enjoy this, but now it's time to flex a little bit. This from Kay Adams. I mean, once again, national media giving the Bucs some love, so that's good from Kay. We love to have her on the show sometime to talk some Bucs. It's great stuff. Guys, every NFL team's make or break player, and it's one of our guys that we talked to, and it would be Kalijah Cansey. They say here, and this is from Pro Football Focus, similar
really
to
make or break player Kalijah Cansey for the Bucs.
Yes, now listen, similar to fellow 2023 first rounder Maisie Smith, Cansey hasn't lived up to his billing for Tampa Bay. Who is Maisie Smith? Similar to fellow 2023 first rounder Maisie Smith. Well, that's
How do you spell that?
Mazi Smith. There's no Maisie Smith for the Bucs, so I don't know who Maisie Smith is, but he hasn't lived up to his billing. He's 2023 first rounder. Cansey hasn't lived up to his billing for Tampa Bay, though, through 2 seasons in the NFL. To his credit, the undersized Cansey has racked up 85 pressures since the start of 2023, which we talked about with Cansey. A top 20 mark among defensive tackles. However, that's not enough to offset his dreadful 28.7 Pro Football Focus run defense grade in that span. Tampa Bay didn't select Cansey 19th overall to be a situational player. He needs to prove this season that he can hold up reasonably well and run defense. Do we want to go out to the Cansey interview really quick to show people that we interviewed him in case you guys didn't see that?
Yeah, let's do it. Pull it up.
All right,
is he including that Kalijah didn't start a lot of games because of injury his rookie year? I mean, he's going into his 3rd year. I mean, to say that he's a make or break, I mean, he hasn't really had a healthy season as of late, but I think this year could be a year. I mean, it doesn't help his case with him saying, hey, I'm going to lead the league in sacks. I'm glad that you're motivated, but sometimes keep stuff like that to yourself a little bit.
I love it.
I get it, but like I could see if it was like week 7 and you have 10 sacks on the board and you come out and say, hey, my goal all along was my goal all along was this I want to break the sack record, then that's different because now you have to come out and say that early on. I mean, hell, he must be very, very, very motivated and I like that. I'm okay with that. This Maisie Smith, I have no idea who this is. He plays for the Cowboys.
There you go. The Maisie Smith, it's been disappointing for the Cowboys, and they say Cansey is in the same breath. Let's go out to the Elijah Cansey interview we did here at the Tampa Expo. Well, once again, we will be involved with starting in December. Louie, you will be here. Hopefully, Harry and Ray will join us. Maybe we'll do a 2-camera shot or something like that. You never know here on the Evolution, and you never know.
It's going to be a long 2 weeks for me, man. I'm telling you right now. I'm going down there for like 2 weeks.
Well, we got 2 days there in early December, but we got a chance to interview Elijah Cansey and ask him just about what we were talking about here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Enjoy this interview, and we'll come back with Turnbuckle Talk. Hi, friend. How you doing? Put those cans on right there. Right there. It's okay. It's all right. Get into that mic right there. Elijah Cansey right here, second year. How many years have you been in the league now? This is going to be your third year coming in, right?
Coming in third year.
Yeah. How does it feel? How excited are you about the 2025 season? Welcome to the Evolution, my friend.
I feel great. Having 2 years under my belt, getting the hand use of the game.
Yeah.
Being able to learn my body, learn myself as a player, pick up real fast in this league.
Yeah. What have you learned from that first year? Because we always talk about progression, evolution on this show. What have you learned from the first year to now?
Really just being able to take care of your body, just knowing your body, knowing what you need to do, knowing what you don't need to do, and really just being able to apply it every day, being able to become a pro, just every day, attacking the day, and making sure you're not taking it for granted.
Yeah. I mean, you were asked this. You were asked this offseason a couple of weeks ago, and about your year this year. You said you could lead the league in sacks. What's going to help Elijah Cansey lead the league in sacks in the NFL this year, in your opinion?
To help Elijah Cansey lead the NFL in sacks this year is definitely, I want to say, my teammates, because we got a lot of great players on the defense and offense. And then really just me being the best version of myself, being able to come in the season healthy, being able to play full 17 games, and just being able to apply and do what I know I can do best, and that's pass rush, and that's make plays, and that's all year long.
Yeah. Talk about your teammates there. Vita Vea, how much of an impact has he made on you? Talk about that whole defensive line room. How excited are you about what you got going on there? Just got a chance to talk to Elijah Roberts here about an hour ago. He's a young kid that's looking forward to learning some things from you. So talk about that room in general.
We got a great defensive line room. We got Vita Vea, we got Yaya Diaby, we got Hassan Reddick, we got Chris Braswell.
Yeah.
We got a lot of guys, man. And I could keep going on. Logan Hall.
Yeah.
I could keep naming it.
Sure.
And a lot of those guys are great pass rushers, great dudes, great run defenders. And we just all got the same goal. We all want to get to the quarterback. We all want to cause havoc. We all want to make plays. And it's guys that I left out. It's a lot of guys, a lot of great guys.
Yeah.
Anthony Nelson, great guy.
Todd Bowles said you watched the film last year. You got all kinds of pressure, weren't able to finish. So that's the key for you this year, to finish. But you're getting the pressure. You're there. So, and the comparison coming into you for the league, and I don't know if you like comparisons or not, but it was Aaron Donald. You okay with being, compared to Aaron Donald? Who's some of the guys that you look at when you came into the league, before you came to the league, and look at now when you're playing the game? Who do you try to emulate?
Okay, see, before I came into the league, it was guys like Aaron Donald, Ed Oliver. It was guys like Grady Jarrett, Quinn Williams. It was a lot of guys. I could keep naming Haggerty, Javon Haggerty. A lot of guys I looked up to, and now that I'm in the league, it's really just me watching myself, seeing like what I can fix, and seeing like picking up the tendencies that I have, and trying to not make those tendencies as noticeable. Just being able to critique myself and make sure that I'm at the best of my game, the top of my game, and really just make it fixes to those mistakes that I've made in the past.
Without giving it away, can you kind of expound on that? Critique yourself a little bit. What you think you need to improve on to make the best version of yourself? Really
just using my hands more, being more aggressive, taking advantage of of plays that I left on the field. Really just making those quarterback hurries and pressures into sacks.
Okay. All right. Talk about Todd Bowles really quick, and then we'll get you out of here. We appreciate the time. How much of an impact has he made on you, and he's made on in that locker room for this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team?
Coach Todd Bowles is a great guy. Taught me a lot of football. He's a great coach as well. Great father figure as well. He's a guy that you wanna run through a wall for. And I know a lot of people say that, but I really mean it. He's a player's coach. If you have something to say or you see something on the field, he will hear you out. And he's creative when it comes to these blitzes and these stunts, and it's fun. It's fun to have him as a coach and go out there and execute those plays for him.
What's the craziest thing? I don't know if you can give it away. What's the craziest thing Todd Bowles has ever said to you?
The craziest?
Yeah. Something funny, something you wouldn't think, because a lot of people consider him just kind of low-key coach. And we talked to Levante David yesterday, and he said, this guy is funny. This guy is... He's got all this excitement. What did he say to you?
He's a guy that's full of sarcasm, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Elijah Cansey, man. Appreciate the time here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. There we go. Elijah Cansey. All right. So there you go right there. Elijah Cansey on with us during the expo, music, and we do apologize for the internet, but we'll figure that out. I'm working on
shout out to Spectrum.
Yeah, shout out to them sucking.
That's good enough to suck right there.
Yeah, thanks a lot for letting me down, Spectrum. You absolutely suck.
Shut up! This guy sucks.
Exactly.
I can't wait until the expo. I really can't. I can't wait, man. Because I don't know if there's gonna be. I don't know, man. There's a Bucs game that week, so we'll see who's there. But I mean, it's still going to be a great time. I'm hoping that we get some legends over there. I wouldn't mind seeing Derek Brooks because honestly, Peter, I wanted to show you something. Look what I found.
What'd you find? Oh my gosh! Look at that! Look at those
Derek
uniforms,
Brooks.
man. Love it. Who's my favorite player? Mr. Derek Brooks. There you go. Look at that.
I would love for him to autograph that.
We kind of got some content from the other time there with TJ Reeves saying, in his poll that Derek Brooks is the number one player. So we can play that sound tomorrow night with Leo.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I would love to just have a couple questions with Derek, man. I think he's my favorite Buccaneer player of all time. Him and Mike, but I think he's got the edge, and I would love to meet him just to get this autograph. Not even for me. But I would keep this for my son and give it down to my son.
All right. I know you would. All right. Let's see here. They did CBS Sports every NFL team's biggest do-over of all time, and they say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Warner's perfect pass in the 99 NFC Championship game. They say Sean King's ruled incomplete pass to Bert Emanuel. It would have counted in today's NFL.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I don't
Still
like
the
talking
Buccaneers
about that.
Well, we're going to talk about it. Still, the Buccaneers fade in their 11-6 loss to the Rams in 1999 NFC Championship game. But that play wouldn't have mattered had Kurt Warner not hit Ricky Proehl for the go-ahead score with 4:50 remaining. Despite playing a near-perfect game against the greatest show on turf, the Buccaneers pass rush just missed getting to Warner, whose pass just evaded the reach of cornerback Brian Kelly. Arriving just after Proehl pulled in Warner's pass was Hall of Fame safety John Lynch, who said he replayed the play in his head countless times in the days following the game. It's still a sore subject for me too.
The NFL didn't want the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. I'm going to stick by that, and I'm going to stay to that. They didn't want the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl.
Probably didn't.
Because who were they going to play? The Tennessee Titans. So you have a high-scoring offense in the Tennessee Titans, and you have a high-scoring, the greatest show on turf, as they like to say. They didn't want the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl because I'm telling you, that was a cheese you-know-what call. All right? And that was a catch.
By the way, this is JP. We missed JP. Next time we have JP on, we're going to have this on.
Yeah.
F you, and F you. Peace out. I'm going to go have a Guinness.
There you go.
I wouldn't mind. I've never drank Guinness, but I mean, if he drinks Guinness, I'm willing to take a shot. You know what I'm gonna do when I go down there? I'm gonna bring it's gonna cost me a little bit, but I'm gonna bring 4 or 5 6-packs of this Whalers Rise. Well, you don't drink, Peter. I forgot.
Well, I will drink on when this is officially done. I've already told people I'm drinking. I'll get an Uber. I got roommates.
Peter's gonna get white girl wasted.
Well, it's gonna probably be Channing Tatum wasted. 2 drinks, and then I'm done for the night. But seriously, I'm ready to do this. Now let's move on to turnbuckle talk here. Enough Bucs talk. We'll talk more about it tomorrow night at 7:30. Definitely tune in. We'll have phone lines open in case you didn't get in. But the big story was Gunther versus Bill Goldberg. Him coming out. We
heard his knees jumping off the ring.
It certainly looked like it. It also looked like he was out of shape. I felt bad because it's almost like
why
the guy stayed way too long at the dance. He stayed too long. He's out of breath. He can barely get on the top rope there. I get it. He wants a retirement match, but do you buy this? Do you like this booking by Triple H and WWE to have Bill Goldberg, of course, on Saturday night main event in Atlanta, going back to the
is that this Saturday?
It is July. Believe
2
it
weeks
is
away.
Yeah, a couple weeks away. I mean, your thoughts on this?
See my face right now? That's
I see it. I see it. Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I've never been a fan of Bill Goldberg. I was never a fan, even when he came to WWE. Actually, I'm lying to you. When he came to WWE, I was like, okay, but I don't know. His run in WWE from the beginning has been terrible. I'm not a fan of this match. It's not gonna benefit Gunther by any means. If anything, if something goes wrong, if they have an Undertaker Goldberg type of match, it's gonna, again, you're hurting Gunther. And as far as, because you said something about how do you like Triple H's booking with this, I don't necessarily think this is all him, because I don't think this is what he really wants to do. If you look at what Triple H has done, he's brought back a lot of guys. A lot of these guys that are getting pushed right now, a lot of the old timers, I love Randy Orton, but does he really belong in the King of the Ring tournament? No. You know who belongs there? Guys like Karrion Kross, guys that you're trying to push, guys that are really over right now. I feel like these tournaments, these King of the Ring tournaments, are meant for guys like that, are meant for guys, the younger guys that are getting called up from NXT, so the audience can see more of this. It's the same repetitive stuff with these guys like Randy Orton, AJ Styles. These guys should be coming around SummerSlam time, WrestleMania time. I don't think they should be there full time, in my opinion. And it'll be better off for them, because then you know what happens, Peter? You end up like Goldberg. You just don't know when to quit.
He needs to know when to quit.
Now, like that one, huh? That was good, huh?
Yeah, that was good. Now, Bully Ray on Busted Open Radio had a few issues with the segment. He said the guy comes back and he gets in Gunther's face. The segment ends. Approximately 10 minutes later, we get a graphic and the match has been made. So last night, Nick Aldis filled in for Adam Pearce. We had a fill-in GM. The fill-in GM is just there because Adam Pearce needed a sick day or something. This substitute teacher allowed Goldberg to just show up, tell the World Heavyweight Champion that he was next, and all of a sudden, this match is miraculously made. Who made this match? Why did they make this match? What's the logic behind them saying yes? Right. There you go. Exactly. And then he said he questioned whether Nick Aldis approved the match, while later touching upon a comment made by WWE CCO Triple H, who had claimed that he didn't want to insult the intelligence of the audience. Ray argued that such a storyline does exactly what the game said he didn't want to do. He said a storyline like this to me is insulting because it's just ramming something down your fan base's throat and expecting them to consume it, just like the politicians ram stuff down your voters' throats and expect them to consume it. Good stuff, Bully.
I like Bully Ray. He's good.
I do too. We'd love to have him on the show. He says he said
I don't know about that, because he would be like, Peter, stop. You don't know what you're talking about. You know how he is?
Yes.
I don't know if I wouldn't mind getting cussed out.
I wouldn't mind. Why not? I mean, it's like getting, like Scorpion death drop by Sting or, RKO'd. You're going to do it. Let me go out to this guy right here. All right, so let's go out to Sun Devil Dave here. What do we say here, Dave, to start the show?
Thank you for wasting my time, and goodbye forever.
There you go. Exactly.
That's what I want to say to Goldberg.
Yeah.
Hey, amazing show. I just listened a little bit of Seneca Wallace. Hopefully next week, I'd really like to get his input of where he thinks the UFL will be in the next few years. Maybe get his input on what Brady buys the Bandits, and you talk about, maybe bring that up. I know you want to talk about QB evaluations, but I'd like to pick his brain about.
Well, pick his brain. Pick the brain if you want to. Pick it.
Yeah, well, next Wednesday.
On your nose, your brain.
Yeah, pick the brain. Yeah, don't pick your nose. Mike DeRoche from Canada, which, by the way, sorry about the Canadian hockey team falling to the Florida Panthers. Olberg, just go away. Christopher Cole, it sucks seeing Liv get hurt. That was another story. She got hurt. It's just,
Ooh, did you see the face that she made? She was in pain, man. Like when she first went down, and she said, "F this, I'm out of here. I'm rolling out of the ring." I want to be like a jerk right now to her, but I'm not going to, just because I seen worse.
That takes a shoulder dislocation or separation. They say it could be 8 months, right? Or more.
Yikes.
I should call the nurse upstairs.
She made fun of that by doing the Sabrina Carpenter gimmick, where if you saw the Sabrina Carpenter what is it, CD, I guess, I don't know what they call it now, CDs, albums, whatever, she's down on her knees, ready to do what with the guy that's in the Liv did the same thing for Dom, making fun of the injury, but there's definitely legit injury there. So
I wish her the best.
I think Dom wishes her the best too, especially when you take a picture like that.
I hope it works out. I just wanted to add,
I wonder what his wife thinks of all this. His real life wife. Think about it. Rhea Ripley. Yeah, come on, man. Like me and the nurse upstairs, we were talking. She's like, they're getting a little too close for comfort there. At least like her and him and like Ripley. It was a little different. Like Liv is kind of really pushing the envelope with him, and so hey, fair play to him.
I remember when you bring up a good point. I think there was some kind of gimmick when Alexa Bliss was still doing that whole Bray Wyatt thing, and something happened with Randy Orton, and she kind of like,
she was like straddling him,
and it looked really. But I think, and Orton's wife made some kind of comment like, "Hey, I think she made kind of some snide remark." But again, it's all part of the scripted storyline. But I know that.
And by the way, Morgan's injury is a severe dislocation, which sounds horrific, and sidelined her for as long as 16 weeks.
Oh wow!
So,
okay,
yeah,
that isn't too bad.
Yeah.
So maybe 4 months. Okay, that hopefully she can come back very shortly. And I just wanted to add, I watched, SmackDown, and I'm thinking that this whole Wyatt 6 is not going to work. I mean,
yeah, I think it's ran its course. So do we agree with that?
I mean, I just thought what I see is great, the obviously the theme, the music, the costume.
It's not the same.
It's a little story, and I like it. But what happens is, are we really excited about Loomis and Joe Gacy in these matches? I mean, are we happy? Are we like, oh yeah, they're gonna, they took out the Motor City Machine Guns?
Yeah, it's just not the same. They're trying so hard,
right?
But the main ingredient, the main piece, isn't there. Bray Wyatt's not there.
No,
right.
William Rotunda is not there. It doesn't work right.
Well, it doesn't work right. It seems like it doesn't work because, essentially, you're right. You don't have Bray Wyatt. There is no supernatural to it. So what's the storyline? These guys come back as a tag team.
Uncle Howdy does a video like, oh, we're going to take out the tag team division, and we're
why?
Everyone on notice.
What's the point?
Why? And then
you want to know why? Yeah. Like do some vignettes.
Well, what's the story behind it? Why should I care? Why should I care about this?
I mean, I love the music. I love when he does. I like that piece, but
sure.
I just don't think it could be an ongoing storyline. But we'll see what happens, and then he messed up. Loomis like forgot, like, oh, he was trying to pin the guy, and he goes, oh wait, I got to talk to Uncle Howdy. What do you want me to do? And kind of messed up the ending. But he did his little flip or jump at the end.
Right.
I mean, I like Loomis. I loved him in NXT. I'm like, when I saw him in NXT and he played that kind of like American Psycho.
He was in TNA too.
Yeah.
He was in TNA.
I loved him, man. I thought this guy.
Right.
I go in the next couple of years, this guy's going to be main. I mean, I think this guy's going to go somewhere, but we'll see. I mean, we're going to see what happens this week, and I wish the Wyatt Six the best, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
I don't think so either. I
don't think it's going to go
place.
anywhere, and it's a shame because I'd like Bo Dallas, of course, and I know that he's doing it.
Remember those days?
Right. I hope. Right. I hope it does go somewhere because I know he misses.
It might though, Peter.
Yeah, they got
It
talent.
might. You want to know why?
Mm-hmm.
There's some news that nobody's really talking about.
And that is?
Supposedly, I don't know how true it is. Supposedly, Mr. Mean Mark Calloway, if you will, the Undertaker, will be joining creative. Yeah, look that up.
Well, I heard he also sold his podcast or something like that. There's something along the lines of that too.
He what? He sold it?
I think he did. You have to look this up though. We have to verify our information, but that's
let me verify this. I actually enjoy watching that podcast. He's funny as hell, man. That's a guy that I'd love to drink bourbon with. I don't like drinking a lot of bourbon, but I would get shit faced with him. I really would. Nobody. How many times can you say, "Hey, I got drunk and I passed out because I drank with the Undertaker"?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, probably 5 shots for me. I'm probably done. That guy can drink a whole. He can knock back a whole bottle of Jack Daniels. I'm all set with that. That's not happening. Bourbon, I'll do that. And I need a chaser after the fourth one. Not gonna lie. I'm just being honest, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Being honest.
All right, Sun Devil Dave. What else?
I think that would be it for tonight. I'm kind of wiped out, but
sound like you're wiped out, man. You gotta get some rest, brother.
Policy Scout's killing me.
Policy Scout. How'd you do today, man?
I did horrible.
What's your numbers?
Bad. Not good right now. We'll get better next week, I hope.
All
so
right.
We'll see.
I won't be there tomorrow. I took
going.
off. I got a function to go to. So yeah. So I'll be there back. I'll be back on Friday. Yeah.
We'll keep it going. Rays look great. We got to pick a night. Let's pick a night to go down there and watch them. So
we need to. I wish it was tonight if we didn't do a show.
Yeah.
That would have been a great.
I was down there. You could hear all the fans, and it's crazy. So premium parking is $10.
Wow.
It's like 10 yards. I'm like, when I went to watch the Cubs game to try to get parking, it was $80, $70, $60.
Right.
But we want to see the Rays. Our 2 games out of first place.
Yeah.
You only have to pay $10, baby. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, man. Get some hot dogs, get some food, go down there.
When I saw the parking, I'm like, wait, I thought it was some kind of function, like, some convention. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, oh wait, it's the Rays. And then I pull up and I could hear them and fireworks and national anthems. I played some pickleball right across the street. So
there you go, my friend.
Cool.
There you go.
Cool. We'll have to go. We'll figure out a night, okay?
We will. We will definitely figure out a night. And what do we say to end off the show?
Thanks for wasting my time. Goodbye forever. You guys have a great night. Go Devils.
All right, there you go. Go Devils right there. Sun Devil Dave right there.
I got some information here.
All right, what's the information? Give it to me.
All right. So he did not sell a podcast from what I'm seeing here. It's still under Mark Calloway's independent control.
Yeah.
Also, so this is coming from via Conan, which I actually like his podcast. He's pretty good. Him and Disco.
Right.
Disco's a little weird, but so reports via Conan reveal that Undertaker has been contributing behind the scenes at recent WWE events like Money in the Bank and AAA's Worlds Collide, which both were pretty decent shows. Industry sources now say that he's likely joining WWE's creative team in a more formal captivity, working under Triple H's leadership. So, for me, you know what? If this is all true, I've been pushing for these guys. I'm actually wearing his T-shirt today.
Nice.
Who's that? Mr. Aleister Black.
That is Aleister Black.
So guys like Aleister Black, Karrion Kross, maybe the Wyatt Six, who was better at the theatrics? The Undertaker. With all the, spooky stuff. I think the Undertaker really has his finger on the pulse here with how to do all that. I think, I seen an interview with with Aleister Black, aka Tommy End, whatever you guys want to call him. But I seen an interview where he was talking to the Undertaker, and he was saying, "Hey, he gave me really good advice. Getting advice from somebody like the Undertaker 1 time, 2 times is cool, but now to have him around permanently, and like from what I hear, he's the one that gave him the idea." Pete, let me ask you, do you like that levitation there that Aleister Black does, comes up out of the smoke with the whatever you call that thing there?
It's cool, but I think again, the
Undertaker gave him that idea.
Right. I mean, yeah, I like it. I guess you can have a little bit of supernatural to it, but
right.
I just don't.
I think this is a good thing if it's true. If the Undertaker's joining, I think this is a good thing. But is there some type of like push, like some kind of like tug of war kind of going on between Triple H and The Rock or TKO? Like, I really hope not. I really hope not, because you know who's gonna suffer in the end? Not the fans. It's gonna be the talent, because there's some guys there. We got to do a show, a straight up 1 hour, 2 hour show of just straight turnbuckle talk, because I in my opinion, there's some guys out there that I think Triple H really, really wants to push, and they're not. And I feel like his hands are kind of tied in some way, because they're not going to hear me out, wrestling fans. And I'm just speaking as a passionate wrestling fan now. In all reality, I'm sorry, I'm not because I'm wearing the T-shirt, or not because I like these guys. I think guys like Cross, Aleister Black, Johnny Gargano, like a lot of those NXT guys, I think those are the guys you need to see more on TV. I think they're more exciting. But I think, unfortunately, guys like Randy Orton and what I was talking about earlier, AJ Styles, all these guys, even like LA Knight is kind of getting at the shaft a little bit.
Yeah.
Even kind of Cody Rhodes is kind of becoming stale. I don't want to see Cody Rhodes in the title picture right now. There's just some guys that don't need that title.
Agree.
Same thing with Randy Orton does not need the title. Why are we wasting opportunities? Why are we wasting the push?
You got CM Punk. You got CM Punk going against John Cena. I think it's too soon at this point. Too soon.
That. Why not give somebody else that chance? Ron Killings, I like that idea. That's cool, because we haven't seen him. We've seen him in this weird, funny role, which I enjoy. But I again, guys like Karrion Kross who can work. I actually enjoyed that Fatal 4-Way with Aleister Black, Carmelo Hayes. That was a really good Fatal 4-Way on SmackDown.
It was. And I think Ron Killings, if anything else, his heel turn or whatever it is, has been better.
Is it a heel turn though? It's been so inconsistent. It's been in a good way though.
It's been good. It's been really good. It's I buy that more than I buy what John Cena's doing. But and CM Punk and his promo with John Cena has saved it for me. I mean, I think they're doing it too soon. But I love.
I think it's stale, Peter. I think they're having Punk pull something out of him. But I mean, this whole cheesy John Cena thing, like he went up to who was it? Jimmy Uso.
Yeah.
Have you seen Ron Killings? I know, like the way he goes up to him, like he's like a teacher, like that just stopped you because you don't have a hall pass in the hallway.
Yeah.
It's too cheesy, man. Like, let loose a little bit. Like it's just not working. Like this whole, I try to give it a shot back, like during WrestleMania season. I said, hey, they're gonna turn it up. They're gonna turn it up. Man, I'm eating crow for that right now, because this has been terrible.
Yeah,
this is just terrible.
Yeah.
Well, they know more.
Yep. We will see how it works out. Now, speaking of SmackDown, according to Dave Meltzer, he cited a Variety report about the show, which included the trailer for the series, which is an adaptation to John Grisham's legal thriller novel, which I'm missing some words here, but he says that SmackDown may go back to 2 hours because there's a new show here that is debuting. The Rainmaker will run on USA Network, of course. So I think it's a good idea. SmackDown is way too long. 3 hours is a long wrestling show. I like the 2 hours. I think the 2 hours is enough. If this happens, I think it helps wrestling in general, because I think there's sometimes that wrestling is a little bit too saturated. Would you agree?
Yes, and we've talked about this. Too many pay-per-views. Not only that, Peter. I think SmackDown should be a 2-hour show, and I think SmackDown is the show where you get promoted to from NXT, and I think Raw should be the big dance of the shows, in my opinion. That's just me. I think Monday Night Raw is the pinnacle of WWE because that was the original, the baby of it all, and I feel like there's certain talent suffering right now on SmackDown because, you have, how can I put it? The roster is very discombobulated. There's two, I'm sorry, certain guys don't belong on SmackDown. Like, in my opinion, even Cody Rhodes, he doesn't belong on SmackDown.
Right.
Cody Rhodes is a Monday Night Raw guy. Aleister Black, in my opinion, is a Monday Night Raw guy. A guy like Carmelo Hayes, that's a SmackDown guy. Johnny Gargano, that's a SmackDown guy. SmackDown should be exclusively to tag teams, maybe. They got to reconfigure this, like the singles and the tag teams and the women's stuff. It's just, and it's too much. Kind of like what I'm doing here, talking too much. But it's just, I'm aggravated about it because it's oversaturated, like you said. It's too many pay-per-views. You can't let storylines progress, and you got to let these guys sit in NXT, well, guys and girls. You got to let them sit in NXT a little bit longer. Stop. It's just, it's just very poorly done, in my opinion. I thought we were turning here, Peter, but I mean, it's kind of like we took a turn. Come to find out, it was only a U-turn.
Yep.
Now we're trying to do a 3-point turn into oncoming traffic to get back on track. I don't know, but AEW is doing pretty good.
Did Taker have heart surgery?
Taker had heart surgery a while ago, I think. I was reading something about that.
Christopher Cole, who do you have winning the Queen and the King of the Ring? I don't know yet.
I don't know.
Again, we'll hold that up. Now let's go on to this story. Former WWE chairman Vince McMahon is no longer affiliated with the pro wrestling promotion that made him both rich and famous, but don't expect the 79-year-old Savage to spend his twilight years rotting away inside a Stamford retirement home. McMahon reportedly is looking to buy his way back into the sports entertainment business, recently making an offer to acquire Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, BKFC, the combat sports organization partly owned by former UFC champ Conor McGregor. He said, according to the update from Undisputed's Justin Barrasso, he's a great guy. His whole team is great, but the timing wasn't right for us, said BKFC founder and president David Feldman. He's Vince McMahon. If I were him, I want creative control too. He was awesome, very complimentary, and he was very serious to do business. What do we make of this? Because we've heard, again, the report from Coach that he wants to buy back WWE. Of course, it's not going to happen. Now he's looking to buy BKFC. I mean, do we expect Vince McMahon to go off into the sunset, or is he always going to?
He's never going to go off the sunset, Peter. He's not.
Like yeah,
that guy, he's an animal.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying for the things that he's done. That's a whole different. That's a whole different topic. But I mean, the guy. I mean, he gets 3 hours of sleep every day. The guy is in better shape than I am. It would be interesting if he bought Bare Knuckle, but I'm just curious if he was to buy that, is he going to compete? Because he has it set in his mind that he could do that when we all know he can't. But I mean, I don't know. I think Vince is not going to go away easily. I think he's going to end up with something. You know what I'm saying? I guess if he really wanted to, he could buy TNA. If that ever became for sale.
Yeah. Well, we'll get back to that in a moment. Mike D says best part of SmackDown is the ending. Raw is the superior brand. Agree with that. Carlito had something to say about AEW. In fact, he says that has helped improve WWE's backstage culture. Carlito Cool was on Busted Open Radio. He says, I don't mean to knock on Vince McMahon, but he seemed to have his certain things you have to do this way, and the next day it changed. Whatever certain rules, just stupidity. they like people walking around on eggshells because it was the only game in town, and they like the boys knowing that. You know what I mean? I think now with AEW being around too, it's helped. They know they can't bully because there's other places for people to go. That's added to it. He's also credited Triple H for helping him clear out many of the outdated and toxic backstage practices. I think Hunter's done a good job too of just cleaning all that crap out. Plus, it's just a new generation. You just can't get away with certain things you could before. You know what I mean? And I just like that a bunch of that BS is gone now. People just go there, show up, and do their work. Is he onto something? Because you're exactly right. And I've always talked about this. In order for wrestling to thrive, in my opinion, you have to have some competition. And it's always good. We talk about AEW and TNA, and now TNA being with NXT and WWE in the partnership, but it's always good to have that competition because it helps not only the audience, but it absolutely improves the wrestling product because you can't stay stagnant. WWE can't stay stagnant because you've got AEW as competition. AEW doesn't want to stay stagnant because they want to overtake WWE, which most likely they're never going to be able to do, but they're definitely going to try. And of course, the audience is in for a treat because you get to watch all this go on. What do you say here? Is Carlito on to something?
Yeah, I mean, think about it, Peter. Like, how many times did we see before there was ever an AEW? You know, how many times did we see? Well, for me, like I said, I used to watch stuff from Ring of Honor, watching Bullet Club, watching New Japan, and I'm just like, wow, man, like this is good stuff. Like, I really wish they would be on air because maybe WWE would get better. And then, long behold, AEW became something. The Cody Rhodes and the what does Jim Cornette call them? The Cucamonga kids, whatever, something like that. They started at AEW, dude. And what happened? WWE was like, oh damn, you know, Vince was still in charge, but then you know, AEW never really got going. I think the saving grace for them was, you know, Tony Khan's father having the Jaguar Stadium because of COVID, and they had a place to go, you know, and they could somewhat put something out there. And for a little bit, man, I don't care how much you hate AEW, to all the webheads out there. You got to admit some of the stuff that they were doing was really good, and they had a lot of good talent. And then you started to see WWE really
raise their game.
Like, yeah, we got to take this serious. Just shits and giggles. What did they do? They started. They signed Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson and a few other guys. They didn't want them. Which, let me pause. What a shame them not using WWE not using them. And we all kind of ridiculed Carl Anderson for saying in that interview, we seen The Rock pull up, and we were like, "Yep, it's time to go." He was onto something. Curious about that. A lot of people gave him heat for that, but he was onto something. But anyways, yeah, I mean, with WWE and AEW being around, I love the fact that it's there. I've been very crucial of AEW. I said they sucked. And I'm not meaning that because I want them to go under. I want them to thrive. Because when they thrive, guess who else is thriving? WWE. And nobody else does it like WWE. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody does it.
Yeah.
Nobody does it like WWE. When they're on their game, we've seen it.
Yeah.
When they're on their game, it's amazing. Like the whole Cody Rhodes story.
Yep.
That was awesome. Why? Because AEW was breathing down their neck. Not so much anymore.
Nope.
So we'll see what happens. But I mean, competition is a very good thing.
What was it? What did Eric Bischoff say? Controversy creates cash. So does competition. Okay. So this has been talked about going to AEW. Tony Khan had this to say: the looming breakup of the struggling TV player Warner Brothers Discovery won't body slam All Elite Wrestling's AEW business, says Tony Khan. Tony says, we have great relationships with everybody at the top, both on global networks and streaming and studios. He told this to Yahoo Finance. Also had this to say: Mr. Zasloff, CEO David Zasloff himself, put our deal together. Gunnar, CFO Gunnar Winterfels, who will be running global networks, also was very involved in our deal. Any concern here? Because this is, you know, Warner Brothers Discovery isn't working out. Is there any possibility that we see WCW all over again, where they say, you know what, this promotion's losing all kinds of money. Maybe we go in a different direction. Any concern of that?
There is concern in my part because Tony Khan needs to put the ego aside. Maybe, just maybe, he needs to make a big, bold move to help change. So to sum it up real quickly, Peter, AEW started here, right? And then they climbed and they got here. And then WWE was right here. And then WWE went like this, and then AEW went like this, and then WWE just went like this, and then AEW was like, well, we competed with them here. We can stay here. No, you can't. You have to keep going. They came. I remember when they came out with Collision. Remember when that came out with that show Collision? The setup. I was like, wow, this is kind of nostalgic.
CM Punk show. CM Punk show.
This is very nostalgic.
It was on Saturday night. Was that what's called Rampage or Collision?
Collision. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a CM Punk show, and then they ruined it because CM Punk was no longer a part of it.
Yeah, I think CM Punk really threw a curveball in a lot of things that they were trying to do. But you know what? I mean, here's the thing.
They did it. They did it to themselves.
Yeah, they did it to themselves.
They weren't interested in, working with this guy, learning from this guy. The young guys weren't interested. They weren't interested in making money, and they threw it themselves. It was terrible. They absolutely dropped the ball.
Yeah. So I really hope that they find a home. I really do. I really hope they find a home because it's not going to feel. Because here's the thing: WWE is owned by TKO. They're a big time company. As long as it makes a little bit of money, they don't care what they're doing. They'll do the bare minimum, in my opinion. They'll do the bare minimum. And I seen an article. I think we talked about this that TKO is losing money. They're in debt. Starting to make a lot of sense why we see a lot of goddamn advertisements everywhere. There's advertisements on everything and anything.
Yep.
Oh, like they could be 2 inches left of canvas, and they'll be like, "Hey, Topps trading cards. You want to buy that for $5 million? We'll give you the 2 inches over there." I don't know, man. It's just I kind of wish WWE was never purchased by TKO. I think you would see such a better version of WWE if it was just Paul Levesque and his wife. I'm telling you, you would see a much better, much polished version of WWE if it was just them running the show.
That's not them. You know who it is? That's The Rock. It's Ari Emanuel.
I can't stand him, dude. I cannot stand The Rock. Like, as a human being, you know what it was? And I'm not going to get political on here, but when the fires happened in Hawaii, this dude had the balls to sit here and say, donate. Dude, you know how much you're worth? Just alone, you donating $10 million of $10 million of your money, and this is not just about The Rock, and this is not a political shoot. It's nothing like that. I don't care if you're a Republican, Democrat, whatever you are. I don't care. I'm talking on a human level. Anybody with that kind of money, you should donate a large chunk of it because you're gonna make it back. You get what I'm saying? Don't sit there on a TV like The Rock did and say, "Can you donate this amount of money?" And you're from there, or your heritage is from there. I don't know. I just don't like it, and it's just he comes off very smug and arrogant. I get it. You're worth a lot of money. I get it, but I was kind of hoping. Remember when they had the BMF title, and Jorge Masvidal. He handed it to Jorge Masvidal, and like Nate Diaz was like kind of in a tiz about it. I was kind of hoping Nate Diaz would Stockton slap his ass, dude. That would have been awesome to see.
We got a couple more stories here, and then we will wrap it up for the night. Production crew member has worked with All Elite Wrestling since 2019, has filed a civil lawsuit against the company and AEW World Champion Jon Moxley. By the way, if this happens, can we get rid of the Death Riders forever? Because it's been the death.
What happened? Here we go.
Well, the lawsuit was filed against the parties on May 30th in Wayne County Circuit Court by Christopher Dispenza, a longtime wrestling and entertainment production crew member who started doing contract work with AEW in 2019. He says, according to the takedown on SI, he has not done work with AEW since December of 2024 and was demoted by Broadcast Service Group to the role of carpenter without explanation. Dispenza claims he suffered severe neck and shoulder injuries as a result of being shoved to the ground unexpectedly by Moxley during a match with Kenny Omega. So there you go.
When was that?
This has been just filed, but he said that this is suffered during a match with Kenny Omega. So
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, long time ago.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. You ain't getting that, buddy.
All right. And then one more final note here.
Just a disgruntled employee.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. You know, it was
they just demoted him to a carpenter. That's
carpenter. Jesus.
What was his role again? What was it? He demoted him. That's what it was. So he's pissed off, and he was just like,
"That's it."
Now he's a
all
carpenter.
Right. So WWE, AEW, can they coexist? Says this article. Well, they will on the American Gladiators. Of course, Miz now doing the revamp, if you will, the reboot, I should say, the other reword, American Gladiators. And AEW stars Wardlow, which, by the way, has anybody heard from Wardlow? What a wasted talent.
Drop the ball on that one.
He needs to go to NXT. And then Camille, who was in NWA Power, Billy Corgan there. She did some work. She was in AEW, hasn't done anything since, being the bodyguard of Mercedes Moné, will be featured in the new American Monet.
We got to make that a soundbite.
I hope Timeless Tony Storm beats her. The new American Gladiators reboot, which now the Miz is involved in, according to Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp, he said he can't confirm reports that one of the companies raised issues with the combination. Sapp would go on to state that sources he's spoken within WWE haven't heard any issues and expect things to remain professional. He also heard that AEW has no issues with The Miz hosting the show, as it will air on Amazon Prime. AEW also doesn't expect any WWE interrogation and the show beyond The Miz hosting it. So are we interested in this reboot? Because I watched American Gladiators in the 80s and 90s. I thought it was great. But are we interested in the reboot on Amazon Prime? And then are we more interested in this because you not only have WWE, but you also have AEW stars? And because we've seen Triple H before combined with TNA and
honestly,
other companies, is there a possibility of him combining with AEW with right here, this show, with AEW superstars along with WWE?
I think this is a good way of getting into a partnership with AEW. I think WWE and AEW could really benefit from doing a show together. Got to put egos aside. I would love to see Kenny Omega against John Cena. I really would. I'd like to see Kenny Omega go against Aleister Black. I would also like to see MJF go toe-to-toe with CM Punk one more time. I'd like to see a lot of matches there because there's a lot of money to be made. I'd like to see the Usos against the Young Bucks. I really would.
3 matches. Absolutely.
3 matches. That can happen. That can make money. But I will say this is to answer your question on this American Gladiator reboot. If I'm interested in seeing this, the answer is I'd rather watch reruns of Legends of the Hidden Temple of Nickelodeon.
That's going off the suck right there.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
I may take a look at it, just to see what it looks like and what it sounds like. Do I think they can top American Gladiators from the 80s and 90s?
So Wardlow is going to be a gladiator on there, or?
Yes, he is. That'd be kind of cool, right? Because he hasn't done anything in AEW. I mean, he should be in NXT right now.
They're recruiting him to go to WWE, and there's going to be a big thing. Well, the Miz is going to go to AEW.
Remember WCW and when they went toe to toe? What was it called? What was it? They had a show. It was like a reality show, or it wasn't Powerball. Well, what was it like? And they had Terry Crews. Terry Crews is a part of it. and they kind of invaded WCW, but they did it half-ass. So WCW superstars were on the show 1 week, and they were invading, and then the other guys were on, and then all of a sudden the show got canceled, or WCW got canceled, and nobody knew what the hell happened. I mean, just so WCW. You have to look it up. I'm trying to think of
look that up.
Battle Ball or something like that. Yeah, Terry Crews. Yeah, we'll have to go back to it. All right, and we'll go with these rumors, and then we will call it a night here. On Keeping It 100 podcast, Conan claimed Undertaker was involved with creative for Money in the Bank, and he thinks he's interested in being part of the creative team full time.
Told you.
Oh, Conan also said Rey Mysterio is expected back from his injury in August. Jonathan Coachman claimed on Behind the Turnbuckle, he has a source who told him Britt Baker is close to being gone from AEW and signing with WWE. What are your thoughts on that? Because they definitely dropped the ball if you're AEW. And then, of course, her breaking up with Adam Cole, supposedly cheating on Adam Cole, so you feel bad for him. And now she's gone from the company. I mean,
well, they did meet on a dating app, so I mean,
well, Blake Monroe,
it was Tinder,
aka Mariah May, has this fallen flat already? Do you like the nickname? Do you like it? Do you kind of like the gimmick, if you will? It's
got to
give
it time.
Gimmick.
Give it time. Got to give it time.
There's no reaction from NXT for her, and she's a good wrestler. She's good on the mic, but there seems like there's no reaction. So it's kind of flat right now for me.
I'm going to say something that's going to be very unpopular with the webheads. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Shawn Michaels is really the guy to develop it down there.
Wow. I think he's absolutely the guy to develop it.
I really, nobody has intrigued me outside of Braun Breaker. Let's take a look at the list. Triple H.
Trick Williams.
He's all right.
You had Carmelo there for a while when Sean was there.
All right. But my thing is, look at what Triple H did.
Or Ergo, what's his name? Who was in AEW? Ricky Saints? No?
It's not. I'm not feeling it.
All right. I think
I'm not feeling it. I just think that I don't know. Maybe
he's the guy. They run the world. They ran the world back in wrestling. They run the world.
You know why? I think Sean needs to be more promoted, more with not NXT, just with Raw and SmackDown. I think that's where he belongs. I think you have to let a guy like CM Punk go down to NXT, and when his time is done, I think you should let CM Punk handle that, because CM Punk is very good with producing and all the TV stuff. You don't think so?
I don't think.
You want to have a gentleman's bet right now? Would you like to have a gentleman's bet right now?
I mean, listen, everything changes, and whoever's making money, what's best for business at the end of the day.
I know.
CM Punk's not going to do it now, but in the future, possibly.
I think we're closer than you think, because I don't. How much longer do you think CM Punk has?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I think we're gonna see it sooner than you think. And I just think Sean should be up there with Hunter, doing that stuff. I don't think he belongs in NXT. Again, maybe it's because the NXT classes that have been coming up haven't really intrigued me. If you go back in like the days of Hunter running NXT, think about it. Asuka, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, like that stuff was priceless. And I know people are going to say, well, they were established. Oh, yeah? Tell me where. Tell me what matches you've watched of Kevin Owens. Don't tell me you sat there and watched Ring of Honor, because you didn't. You know what I'm saying? But, if you look at those guys like Johnny Gargano, Ciampa, like all like that NXT, like Alistair, Nikki Cross. You remember when they had Sanity? Sanity was awesome. And Chad Gable, all these guys, that was from, it's a different era in NXT. But now, to me, the Shawn Michaels NXT is doesn't really intrigue me. They got some talent.
Sean's gonna be the guy going forward.
I just think that they're doing things wrong down there. I really do. Like, what's his face? Brian Pillman's kid, Lexus King.
Yeah.
What are you doing, dude? You look stupid. You should have just went with Brian Pillman Jr. You should have just took the name and ran with it and say, hey, You can still have the attitude like, oh, I didn't know my father. Da 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 da. That's cool, but you could still carry that legacy and say, hey, there was a lot of negative things about my dad. Blah blah blah. Blah. And you carry that. You do your own. You're Brian Pillman Jr. So
he's doing a lot
Brian Pillman.
more. He's doing a lot more now in NXT than he did in AEW.
Exactly. He was with Robert Griffin or whatever the hell that kid's Griff Garrison.
Yes.
Malachi Black was knocking their heads off, dude, every week.
That's what I'm saying. He's doing more in NXT. So I think, Sean gets credit for that. But, again, Sean's going to have the job. All right. More stuff here and we'll end it off. There was some news here from ESPN. Grizzlies, Zach Edney faces reckless driving charge after police say they stopped him May 1st driving 101 miles an hour in a 55 mile per hour. This is another guy, another athlete, 101 miles an hour. Listen, I don't get it. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like I understand you want to drive a fast car, you're rich, whatever. Why put
time and place for it? You want to drive fast? Take it to the track, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had a Cadillac, an ATS. I boosted. I did a bunch of stuff too, and I used to hammer down. I think I blew the head gasket on that thing. That's why it stunk like antifreeze over time. But I ran that thing pretty hard a couple of times and driving on the highway.
Sure.
I'd catch myself doing about 95 in a 55, and I'm like, oh, ease the brake, pump the brakes here, like slow down. I never understood how these guys, like I'm doing 95 and a 55 on the highway. These dudes are doing 100 on side streets.
Yeah.
You know how crazy that is? All it takes is for one kid just to cross.
Nuts.
And your life's over. You don't believe me? We just talked about him. Go ask Henry Ruggs, who supposedly is getting released. What a waste of talent.
By 2026, yeah. And
just a waste.
Yep.
You lost 6 years of your career.
Crazy.
And honestly, that kid would have been phenomenal, Peter.
Probably would have.
Nick Saban talked so highly about him. But these things happen. You want to impress a girl, you want to impress your friends. Next thing you know it,
not
F around and find out.
That's it.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yep.
Keep it up. Look at Shador. Another one, 101 miles an hour.
Well,
Stupid.
we could definitely bring some stuff to the the Frozen Pirate podcast.
I got a good topic.
I got a good topic too. So
I got a good topic
tomorrow night, and we can also talk about the Tom Brady and the Derek Brooks conversation if you want to. We're gonna get out of here on that, man. Go in and promote yourself.
At this, we have a good show lined up for you guys tomorrow. I promise. As always, go to the YouTube, go like and subscribe to that. Hit the bell notifications so that way you know when we're coming on. Also, follow me on Facebook. Louie Lateo on Facebook. You can follow Frozen Pirate Podcast page on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, the Frozen Pirate Podcast. I'm very active on Instagram. A lot of my stuff I put out usually goes there first. But tomorrow's going to be a good show. We got the boss man, Peter Blake. He's going to be producing. I have a good topic that I want you guys to sit on. Is Simeon Rice better than Aaron Donald and J.J. Watt and company? Is he better than them guys? I think he is, and I'll tell you why tomorrow, 7:30, right here on the Sports Web.
And I think we'll talk about teams that could overtake other teams in their division, and you'll be surprised who one outlet believes could overtake the Buccaneers, and also some of the biggest risk in the NFL, like some of the signings, like Aaron Rodgers to Pittsburgh. We'll find out what Tony Dungy had to say. And in your opinion, what is the biggest risk right now for the Bucs? Was it not going for a middle linebacker? Was it not getting a corner? Was it something else? We'll have more on the Frozen Pirate Podcast. Louie, appreciate the time, man. We'll see you tomorrow night, all right?
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
There you go, right there. All right, he's gone. So Louie from the Frozen Pirate Podcast will be on with him at 7:30 taking phone calls. Louie and Leo Haggerty and whoever else we want to get. As always, thanks a lot to all the guests. Of course, Seneca Wallace former quarterback in the National Football League, now St. Louis Battlehawks quarterback coach, Leo Haggerty himself, JP Peterson with the stadium story, and of course, Louie from the Frozen Pirate podcast. Once again, we'll be back on Monday night, Wednesday night, and of course, we're going to start doing that podcast on Thursday night, taking your phone calls. I don't know how long, but thanks a lot for all the calls. Thanks a lot for all the comments. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. Give to the content. And as always, as we wrap this up for the night, again, we'll keep it down because the roommates are sleeping. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay Sports Fan, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. And as we always say here, go Bucs.